For those of you who are watching this later, we're just taking our time getting ready, waiting for people to get here because
Get it on.
we never plan for nothing. Yep.
You want the laptop?
Yeah. That's too far away. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. So big and so strong. Come a little bit closer. I'm all alone, and the night is so long.
Oh my god, this chair is awful. Get this little.
Yeah, it's fine. La 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 la. There's 3 people here. Hey everybody, we're just taking our time getting ready. It usually takes folks a while to get here because we don't plan and or schedule these things. So rather than sit here looking stupid, we figured we'd wander around and look stupid for a few minutes. So just bear with us while we get set up here. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of so big. Come a little bit closer, I'm all alone. And the night is so long. When the music stopped and I looked, the cafe was empty. And I heard Jose say, man, you know you're in trouble. Hey, Les. Les and Sharon are here. Trouble plenty. So I dropped my drink from my hand. And through the window I gotta sign in. Dadgummit. And as I rode away, I could hear her say to Jose, we're gonna get a community, what is that, a copyright strike. Come a little bit closer, you're my kind of man. So big and so strong. Come a little bit closer, I'm all alone. The night is so long.
Ready when you are, Ryder.
The kids were watching Paw Patrol last. Wee doggy.
Could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse. So we're getting the chat up and we'll be ready to go here momentarily. Isaac, you're amazing, brother. I gave Isaac a heads up 20 minutes ago that we'd be doing this, and he was like, okay. We're calling this the Grand Solar Minimum Edition because it's cold as balls out here. Okay. Sharon says it's her favorite Saturday night show. That's kind, Sharon. Thank you. All right, so what are we drinking tonight?
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis. I don't always drink beer. No, I'm kidding. I always drink beer. Okay. No, Les has to drink through it. Why can't you drink for yourself, Les? What's that Sharon doing to you? Oh, there we go. Thank you. This evening, we're drinking the world's most interesting beer.
For Saturday night's most interesting live stream.
Isaac bought a sub 2000. That's that folder, that Keltec that folds under. It's kind of like that skinny looking. I think. Oh, Muhammad's wife. That's what Muhammad's wife had. 65 degrees in California. I think it's probably freezing here by now. It was 36 degrees when we came out. Okay. All right, we're up. Carrie Stennett's got a sub 2000 too. I'd like to have one. I think that should be my truck gun. I think my truck gun should be a sub 2000. So which Dos Equis is this? Is this just the regular? Yeah, it's the lager.
Yeah, I think.
The lager especial. Especial. Alrighty then. Oh, because that sub 2000, it folds up really small. This little tiny package, and you could, hide it anywhere and have it easy to pull out. That AR9 I'm building is. Can I get this any closer? Oh, but I need to lower it some. How's that?
Yeah.
Tilt it.
The Dutch angle.
The Dutch angle.
Is that what it's called when they tilt the camera?
I don't know. I should mute that conversation, but I'd have to get out of the live stream, and then who knows. I've got a text message conversation going right now that's with a. How's our fire doing?
It's not warm enough.
It is not warm enough. What are we talking about? We had fewer plans than normal this evening. I thought about doing another Ukraine talk, how the war in Ukraine is validating the militia concept.
Yeah, we've been lied to a lot about that.
Yeah. Hey, Keith is here. How you doing, Keith?
Yeah, pretty much everything they've told us has been a lie.
Les can't drink because if Sharon drinks, she breaks out in orange jumpsuits. Sharon sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, Isaac got an olive drab sub 2000, 33 round stick mags that folds up to 16 inches. Rachel Knight is here. Hey, Rachel. And Keith is doing great. And of course, that smoke's going to come right at us. I think that thing is going to smolder for about an hour, and then it's going to go off all at once. There'll just be an explosion behind us. It has rained so much here. We're like sitting in like an inch of water.
Yeah.
And so we started a fire on top of the old coals from was it last week or the week before?
Week before.
Week before's fire, the coals were still sitting on the ground. MI Prepper's here. Hello, sir. Oh, Putin says that Russia's at war with the U.S. Huh.
Well, Biden sure does want him to be. It's been begging him. Please.
Please, invade, please. Please, I'm begging you. Come on, Pootie, you can do it, Pootie. Putin, put it in. Put it in. Putin is put in.
So what was the joke we said last week? Like Biden falling to his knees and taking Putin. I was like, what if we got a fact check on that? Which one did they ask? They asked Biden, huh? What? Huh?
Oh, yeah.
That's how I greet all my friends.
Hey, C103 is here. Why can't I be Moses? It's the beard.
You're the Aaron. I need me an Aaron.
You need to do
If I had an Aaron, man, I'd be a cult leader. I got shortchanged on the charisma.
Oh, yeah, I am the talker and you're the
Yeah.
silent one. So I am. Oh, wow, that's. Oh, man, I'm Aaron.
I got a.
Shucks.
The Lord gave me the attention span of a goldfish and the charisma of a chia pet.
Does that mean I'm going to make a gold altar out of the earrings of. Uh-oh.
We were just kidding.
Oops. No gold altar. All right, just gonna have to talk for a minute while I go find a battery.
Oh, great. That might take a while. All right, so what have we been wrong on Ukraine? What have we been lied to about?
All of it.
Yeah, let's see. Snake Island, that was a lie. Where the 13 Ukrainian soldiers held off the Russian warship for hours. Then they told us, the Ukrainians goes, oh, no, go fuck yourself or whatever. No, it turns out they all surrendered immediately. Goes to Kiev, yeah, that was a lie. What else?
So big and so strong. Come a little bit closer.
He's singing and it's distracting me.
How does that look on there? Is that enough light? Or does it need to be brighter?
It needs to be brighter.
Say the same thing about us.
There you
How's
go.
that?
Yeah, that's good right there. We're losing people.
How many?
4 or 5 just,
Oh!
just left. Feel like I'm looking at a dark screen.
Sorry about that, folks. Well, we're at 17.
We were up to 21.
We were up to 21. What, Ghost of Kiev was a lie?
Yeah.
Oh, shucks. That was the pilot, right?
Yeah, that shot down eight Russian jets.
So what was it, just Stingers?
Uh,
Or they just nothing got shot down?
yeah, I'm thinking nothing got shot down. What else was a lie? The bioweapons thing.
Oh, that was a lie?
Yeah, well, there is bioweapons.
Oh,
labs there.
okay,
And they
yeah.
were saying, oh, no,
They're
there's
saying there wasn't,
Yeah.
and there are.
Yeah, the WHO came out and said that, we told Ukraine to get rid of all those pathogens before Russia invaded so the diseases wouldn't spread. Like, well, you told me there was no biolabs there, though.
MI Prepper brings up an excellent point here. Imagine if the U.S. and Russia were allies against Islamo-fascist terrorists instead of being enemies. Missed opportunities. If America and Russia could cooperate, yeah. Timothy Young is here. Hi, Tim. Timothy. Do I know you well enough to call you Tim? I'm sorry. Some call me Tim. But no, how awesome would that be? Because, Russia's officially a Christian nation, allegedly. They got all that territory. They're so strategically situated. They'd be a wonderful ally instead of a lousy enemy. Huh. Tim is fine. That's good. No, the Russians aren't commies anymore, and that's what really caught the Democrats off guard. I believe in many conspiracy theories, and one of the conspiracy theories I believe in is that Putin desperately wanted Hillary Clinton to be elected. Desperately wanted Hillary Clinton to be elected. Because he knows, he just make a few, well-placed donations to the Clinton Global Initiative and he gets whatever he wants. He likes high oil prices.
Did you know that Ukraine is the highest donor to the Clinton Foundation?
Really?
Yeah.
See, there's some weirdness going on over there.
How come all their kids are on these gas boards?
Yeah.
Like Kerry and Biden and
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the Ukrainian people. I feel sorry for the Russian people.
I do feel sorry for the Russian
I feel sorry for
people.
the American people.
I do.
Because all these governments are scumbags.
They're all corrupt as hell. All right, well, you just stepped all over my conspiracy theory, so we'll move on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Carry on with your conspiracy theory.
Keith says there's some weirdness. There is some weirdness going on over there. And Russia's so good on the gay stuff, too, They're the only ones, I think, in the developed world who are like, no, we're not doing all this weird-ass gay stuff. Donate 10% to the big guy, too. Jason Householder asks how we're doing. We're doing well, Jason.
A little cold.
Little cold. Yeah, Putin was in the KGB. There's this really interesting picture of Ronald Reagan is in Moscow outside the Kremlin, visiting, and he's allegedly meeting all these Russian tourists, and one of the guys he's meeting is a very young Vladimir Putin, looking exactly like a government agent, standing there with a camera like it's a prop, shaking or trying to shake Reagan's hand. It was so obviously Vladimir Putin that it's pretty funny. You should look it up. Voon rent? What is Voon rent? Putin, Ukraine, and Democrats all the same team, kind of obvious. Yeah, I don't know. they're killing a lot of people. Someone's killing some folks for some reason, you know? Of course, you know, what is that? Agenda 21, what is it? Where they want to get rid of all the population? Is it Agenda 21?
It's on the Georgia Guidestones.
You know, we've got to go down there and do a video. I have never been there.
It's not far.
No, it's right down the road. What, 30 minutes? 45?
Yeah.
All right, here comes that stupid dog.
Hey, buddy.
Can you talk while I mess with the fire?
Sergeant, dog.
Dog!
It's your turn to talk.
Talk, dog.
I've been talking the whole show,
Well,
and all of 5 minutes.
good. That means you're all warmed. Your vocal cords are warmed up.
All right, what were we talking about?
We were on the Georgia Guidestones there for a second.
Yeah, they want to reduce the population to what is it?
500 million.
Yeah, something like that.
It is just too wet for this fire.
Go out.
Well, it just burned all of our stuff in the middle and didn't burn our tower.
It's going to be a cold night.
Gonna be a cold night. We might have to go get some more jackets. Huh. I wonder what that is. Looks like it's wood. Let's find out.
All right.
I guess I could go inside and get some dry firewood, but it's really for the house. Although I hear it's a really good time to find Ukrainian brides online. I think you can get a mail order Ukrainian bride pretty cheap right now. I guess you could probably get any kind of. Probably got a Russian bride pretty cheap right now. Except, you know, you can't fly her in. There's no flights.
Well, at least you won't know. At least you'll know she won't be overweight because McDonald's pulled out of Russia.
McDonald's and Coca-Cola shut
Yeah.
down.
that taught Putin. Whew,
Yeah.
man.
There's going to be a baby boom and a life expectancy increase in Russia over the next.
Wait a minute, all my citizens are healthy. I should have invaded Ukraine a long time ago.
Our healthcare costs just plummeted. Oh, come on. It's not good when you can stick your hand all the way down. Of course, there's some heat.
We should have did this live stream in the truck.
I didn't get any hate mail from my hate crimes video I just put up Friday. No one called me a racist. I think I must be so throttled that, I mean, no one can see me unless they're just like subscribed and go looking for it.
Oh, damn. Sorry, guys, it's cold. I know y'all are tired of looking at my face anyway. I'm gonna stand closer to this non-fire.
My channel has, you know, I don't put out the greatest content in the world. I'm not Demolition Ranch, you know. That's an entertaining son of a gun.
He might drink Dos Equis, but he's not interesting.
I'm not that interesting. But I haven't changed anything. And my channel was so much bigger in the past. I mean, so much bigger. I can't get 1,000 views right now to save my life. So I've decided that, you know, they're throttling me. They gotta be. Okay, I'll talk for a while. You mess with that. Okay. Jeff's had to hear this story a bunch, but Yeah, that fire is wetter than Bill Clinton's cigars. Oh, too soon. Boy, now that's someone, you haven't heard anything out of Fauci lately, and you haven't heard anything out of Bill Clinton in forever. I wonder if the last time I saw him, Bill Clinton looked like a cadaver. I mean, he just looked awful. But the country is under attack from within. We all need to be prepared well for what is on the way. Hey, are you guys aware that Iran just bombed the U.S. consulate in Iraq? I did not know that, Jeremy. Yeah, Tim says they are throttling you because I have not seen any of your videos lately. I don't put out as many as I used to, but they're not any different than they used to be. And I used to get substantially more views. All right, someone wants to know where someone got their info on power outages. 52% of Democrats would run if the U.S. was attacked. That's a lot of skinny jeans and man buns running for the border. I mean, how far could they run? Have you seen these people? Athletes, they're not. I saw where missiles hit the big Bade in Iraq. Fauci in Biden's basement. Just keeping it warm for him. Clinton equals spokesmodel for Depends these days. Yeah, the last time I saw Bill Clinton, he looked atrocious. I mean, awful. Like liver spots and... I missed the witness protection. Oh, they're in witness. Yeah, Fauci and Bill Clinton are in witness protection. Les Jones has been here since 2016, which was when we started the channel, was 2016. So he's been here a while. No injuries or deaths in, I guess that was the consulate attack in Iraq. Target of the attack is unclear. Katie 439 says it's going to get crazy soon. And I agree, because you want some, there's that fat word is over there. Because they are so close to winning. And I think they realize now is the easiest it's ever going to be. Because their population reduction plans have hit them harder than it's hit the right. You know, people like us tend to have more, you know, skinny jeans. I think they keep your there's ladies with us. Well, hell, it's a revolting man. They know what they signed up for. I think skinny jeans keep your testicles so close up to your body that they overheat and it kills the sperm count. If you wear a good relaxed fit boot cut, I think it allows a little more. So like, you know, I've got 15 kids, just got 8. I know multiple people with 7, and I know a guy with 12, and I mean, not everyone, but I know significant amounts of people with, you know, 3. Like I've got a buddy with 2 kids, and he's really ashamed of himself. You know, he's like, I've only got 2 kids, and you know, they're trying for more, but it's just not happening for them. So it's like on the right, we just tend to have more children. Our population isn't crashing as quickly as the left's population because, you know, I mean, you know, transgendered lesbian seagulls, it just, fertility isn't a...
They're not reproducing.
Yeah, they're not reproducing that much. And, you know, they think they're going to steal all of our children, but we're kind of on to them. Yeah, Sharon says, yeah, we know what is here. Sharon's the one who can't drink without ending up in an orange jumpsuit, though, so I'm probably not going to shock her. Whoa, Carrie, Congress passed the spending bill with the 2 gun control measures in it. The red flag thing and then the NICS thing. Give us some more information. I'm not familiar with this. Oh, Buddy Bear had a calf. Congratulations. I'll give you a call. Buddy Bear is the man I know who produces more food than anyone I've ever met. No one I know produces the food he produces. And he has a a dairy operation. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. And he just had a calf born. So, congratulations, Buddy Bear. Rachel is not easily offended, and to be honest, I'm more offensive than you, or as I call it, blunt. The skinny jeans crowd aren't often doing it with women, so automatic birth control. I mean, it's crazy, but they're not. You read the statistics about these young generations, and they're not doing drugs, and they're not having sex, and they're not even getting driver's licenses. It's crazy. When we were kids, I'm going to turn 16. I'm going to get my driver's license. I got to get a car. And these kids today, they don't want to drive. They don't care. It's not that big of a deal to them for whatever reason. I don't know if because they live their lives so much online, there's just not as need for them to go somewhere. I missed something my prepper said. Rachel's laughing about it. It's hard to put vote machines no matter how many children you have. I think we could outbreed them. You can control local elections, and local elections choose local elections officials, and I think it's possible. I believe they are stealing the vote, and that's why I think it's important to vote, because the more people who vote, the fewer votes are out there for them to steal. You can start electing sheriffs if you've got a cohesive enough community. You can start electing county commissioners and city commissioners. Maybe city commissioners are harder, but town councilmen and whatnot. So there's something to be said for forming communities and staying engaged. Well, Bear Claw says you need more kids. 250,000 migrants cross the border every month and can vote. The interesting thing there is that they are not reliable Democrat voters. They are maybe not splitting 50-50, but they're splitting enough that it's not necessarily a done thing. And we are, conservatives are slowly and gradually increasing their share of the African American vote too. So if we could hold on for another 20 years, that doesn't seem like we could. But if we could hold on for another 20 years, it's possible we could slow this thing way down. Chris Broom wants to know when I'm running. Chris Broom knows me quite well. And he knows for a fact that I couldn't get... I have... How many children do I have that can vote? I think I've got 5 children that can vote right now, plus my wife. And my mother and my father live here, so that's 8 votes. And
Fuck. I walk away from the fire and it blazes up.
Let's see, Jeff and his wife, that's 10. I've got 10 people. I probably couldn't get 10 votes though, even counting that 10, I've got more than 10 people in my immediate circle. I don't have skeletons in my closet, but that's just because I'm too poor to afford a closet. All of my skeletons are just laying around in the front yard. That's why we can't have a Camaro up on blocks, because there's too many skeletons in the way. We're hoping one day to be able to afford a closet, and then we can try stuffing our skeletons in there. And then at that point, we'll see if we can't find an old Camaro to get up on blocks. And then maybe we can think about running for public office. But until we get all those skeletons in a closet somewhere, it's just not going to happen. Okay, what do we got going on? Guns. Guns, coast to coast. Need a drink. Guns, coast to coast. I think I do know that channel. That's a very earnest young man.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. If it's who I'm thinking of, he's real buff too. He's all jacked. He's probably got 5 or 6 kids. Pretty sure that's him. I think he's out of South Carolina somewhere. Help me out if I'm right here, Guns. If you want to try to post a link to your channel, one of the moderators will approve it. Not enough room in the closet with you guys in there. Good line. Well done, Isaac. That was awesome.
We need a bigger closet.
There's only so many burly bearded men you can fit in one closet. We're going to have to get one of them walk-in closets. Aaron Goodman's here, and he's asking about Iran hitting the embassy. So did they hit the embassy, or did they hit the consulate, or what the heck's going on there? I guess they figured if Putin could get away with invading Ukraine, Iran could get away with blowing up another embassy. It's not like it's the first one they've blown up or anything. Get a container. Oh, Tim likes guns coast to coast, too. All right, so what's Iran up to? Are they just thinking they got an opportunity to get a shot in, or there's something bigger going on?
It's World War III, man. Have you not been watching the news?
Guns is for people that can think deeper than most. I guess it's not for us then.
Man, my feet are cold, man. They're wet. I need new boots.
Revolting Ken Reed. All right, China will be taking Taiwan probably. I just don't. Okay, don't listen to me though. I was about to do it again because I was the one that said Russia's not going to invade Ukraine. Not going to do it. And I still don't see why they did. I don't see the upside for Russia in doing
We had chemical warfare plants on the.
But how hard
on
would
their border.
it be to be nice to Ukraine and get them to cooperate with you?
Not when Ukraine and the U.S. are. Ukraine's just a big money laundering scam for the U.S.
Baby.
I mean, there's.
It just seems like, Russia's this 900-pound gorilla directly to the north that shares thousands of miles of border. You'd think it would be in Ukraine's best interest that if they could get along with Russia to do it. It just seems like, and what do I know? I'm a raging idiot. I'm not even smart enough for guns coast to coast.
I guess they chose the wrong side.
It just seems like if Russia would just play nice once in its entire damn existence, they could get everything they want if they just stopped trying to take it.
Moscow has been silent for too long.
Russia will rise again.
Isn't that what they told Putin when he was in the KGB when the wall fell? I guess all the Germans that, not the civilians were surrounding the KGB place, and Putin came out and said that we have guns, we have permission to fire upon you, leave. And so, but when he went in, he made a call to his generals and said, we need backup. And they said that Moscow is silent. And so now Putin is saying Moscow will be silent no more.
Oh, Moscow ain't silent. Well, I still say they could get everything they wanted and more if they just quit being assholes about everything. Tim says that Putin is helping deep state distract from Hillary investigations and launder money. I believe that entirely, that Putin loves Hillary Clinton. And that's why he was acting like he was Trump's friend, because this was my conspiracy theory you stepped on earlier. Back in the 2016 election, they were acting like Trump was all in bed with Russia. And I think that was this, psyop to try to get people mad at Trump. But in reality, Putin was all about him some Hillary Clinton, because he loves corruption and he loves being able to buy off people and keep high oil prices. And what the left forgot was that Americans don't hate Russia. We hated commies. And now that Russia's not communist anymore, they're fine, nice people. I don't know if they're nice people, but, they're not any worse than anyone else. I mean, in a world filled with, 1.2 billion Chi-coms, Russians don't seem that bad to me.
But if you step back and look, everybody who's for Ukraine, let's see, Hillary Clinton, George Soros, the Bidens,
The Bidens,
Justin Trudeau, all these Hollywood kid fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, yeah, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And all these people are our enemies. The Clintons, the Bidens.
Yeah, they've been lying to us from the get-go. And now,
about everything.
Yeah, now we're going to believe them that
Yeah.
Russia's Hitler and he's killing all these civilians. It looks like to me he's going out of his way not to kill civilians. Because he could have had this over with very quickly.
Maybe, I don't know. He's completely bogged down.
I mean, that's what they're telling us. But
Well,
you're trying
it's been 15 days and he's not in Kiev yet.
It's because he's not killing civilians. He's not just rolling through these cities and he's just surrounding them and he's going to starve them out.
If he's got tanks and he's fighting militia, he should be able to just roll down the street and let them.
Right, but you have to ask why. Why is he not?
I
It's
don't-
not
I
because
don't
he's
know.
giving out of gas.
That's what they say, though. They say
that's
he's out of
stupid.
gas.
That's stupid.
That's what they say.
You're trying to tell me Putin don't know how much gas to bring in?
I
And
don't
food?
know. I don't know.
I heard one story. I don't know if this is true, but it was these Ukrainians that are in Ukraine, and they were talking to their family members outside of the country, and their family members were saying, you know, it's so bad about, Russia's so bad, they're killing all the civilians. But the people in Ukraine were saying, no, the Russian soldiers are helping us. They're feeding us. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not,
Yeah,
but
the problem is we live in a post-truth society.
yeah, we don't know what's true.
We don't know who
what-
to trust.
Yeah,
And you know what? They can fake it. They can fake evidence, and we're not. We don't have the tools to see who's lying and who's not.
yeah. But I definitely can't believe the people who's been lying to us from the get-go.
Right. Yeah. We can't believe Soros and Clinton and Biden and
The mainstream media.
the Bushes and the media.
They've been calling me a white supremacist for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. We're racist. We're homophobes. We're Islamophobes. We're, Mexican phobes. What else? What other kind of phobes are we?
We're white. I mean, they've been calling us racist because I'm a straight white male and I'm not afraid to say, hey, dicks are for chicks. That's biology. And thought you followed science. If you followed science, I mean, biology doesn't care about your feelings. It's two dudes are not going to reproduce. It's not. It's not natural.
And you can't put a dude in a wig and a dress and say it's a chick. It's not going to work.
How do we get off on that?
It's at the forefront of everyone's mind right now. I mean, if there is ever a sign that we are in a corrupt, dying society, it's that we can let some 6 foot, 200-pound asshole with really bad hair and stupid makeup put on a bra and mince around and everyone participate in the delusion. And no one has the truth. I shouldn't say no one. Very few people have the courage to stand up and say, no, I won't go along with this.
Because you'll be called a racist or a
You'll be
homophobe or
a homophobe or a transphobe.
You'll be
or,
banned. And
You're mean.
yeah.
That's what it boils down to. You're mean. How can you be so mean? How can you deny my truth?
You're a domestic terrorist.
Yeah. Yeah. You're the biggest threat facing America today. The pervert in his cross-dressing Wild Bill, what was the bad guy in the first Silence of the Lambs movie? Wild Bill something or other.
Yeah.
That guy, he's not a threat to America, but the grandfather here.
He did have
Ooh!
He did have night vision though.
He did have night vision's awesome. America deserves God's righteous wrath just as much as Sodom and Gomorrah. Yes, it does. As they would say, follow the science, but they get offended by XX and XY. Yeah. Genetics, biology seems like a science, I mean, boys have...
I mean, we can run an experiment. We could put, let's see, Don Lemon and Brian Stelter and, Don Lemon.
Oh, Lemon. Lemon. Don Lemon.
Chris Cuomo and Juicy Smollett all in a house together for a month, and they're not going to reproduce.
They're not going to reproduce.
They're not going to.
Going to have a lot of sex.
They'll have a
though.
lot of sex, but they will not produce.
A lot of sex.
They will not produce another human being. And that is testable and.
It'll be the end of the month. We'll be like, okay, guys, you can come in. No, we won't. We love it here. Send us Viagra and ecstasy and leave us alone. God, that would be the best. You know what? I would support that law. We would pass a law that Stelter and Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon, they can spend the rest of their lives locked in a house, and we will bring them Viagra and ecstasy as much as they can consume. That would be one of the best things we could do for America.
For CNN too.
Yeah, for CNN too. Yep. No one would ever see those men again.
We have died and gone to heaven.
It's like sexy jail. Just know, Brian Stelter, like in his normal life, he's like a total flamer, It's like, girl, slay queen. And then whenever the camera's on, he's like trying to butch it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm straight to promise.
Crowder's stuff on Stelter is so funny. Oh my God. They are hysterical when it comes to Brian Stelter. Apparently he's got some model wife or something. They would die happy. I hate when a chick has a bigger... and someone would turn it into a cable TV show. You couldn't turn it into a cable TV show, Chris, because Stelter would butch it up again real quick and try to act like he's straight. And the man is just not a good actor. They showed him having the baby, but had a big beard and wore a hat that said "Daddy." Oh, I remember this. The transgender dude kept all of his girl parts and got pregnant. There's one of these couples where the woman is transgender dude and the man is a transgendered chick. And I don't even know how do you describe that?
Strange.
I mean, because they're actually doing it right. And the man, and what do they say about it? Oh, I can't remember. I read an article about him. It was probably about a year ago. And I was just like, they're so twisted, they're almost right. I don't know what to do with this. The man married a woman, but the man thinks he's a woman and the woman thinks she's a man. Don't know. I wonder can y'all hear when he walks the squishing of the water? But no, we live in a sick society that this can't go on. Please, God, don't let this go on. Please have mercy on us and end this soon. Let us try again. Sharon told Bear Claw that he's hanging out with the wrong women. You got to go back and read Bear Claw's statement to know what she's talking about. I have not seen much TV lately, Chris. We have Netflix, and that's about it. And it's not even our Netflix. We're squatting on my mom's Netflix. KDE says to prepare... Katie? I just got that. Prepare well and thoroughly. Get some training soon. Time is against freedom-loving Americans. I don't know. Time might be on our side if we can hold out. Momentum is against us. I do see reasons to be, I won't say optimistic, less pessimistic. Like I said, we're having children. We're making inroads with the Hispanics. We're at least scratching the surface of the African Americans. The left is getting so crazy. I mean, they're getting so absolutely insanely unhinged that they're driving. I mean, look, the left has lost Russell Brand and Bill Maher. Now, these guys aren't conservative. They don't claim to be conservative. But even insider, guys who just a few years ago were crazy leftists now are going, okay, whoa, slow down. Whoa, slow down. There is a momentum, or maybe not a shift, but there are some voices of reason, maybe concern. You're hearing opposition in corners where you never would have heard it before. Never in 100 years would you have ever thought Bill Maher would suddenly start making a little bit of sense. The Russell Brand would start making sense, or some of the others. It is freaking cold out here. So, Putin is not a dummy, so why didn't he take out comms and end the Ukraine thing in 1 week? I don't know. Part of the problem is that Russia is not as powerful as they like to pretend. The thing that Russia has always been best at is propaganda. They've always been really, really good at making everyone think they're incredibly powerful, and then when push comes to shove, they get their asses handed to them. This goes as far back as the Crimean War back in the in charge of the Light Brigade and all that. I can't remember if it was the 1840s. I think it was the 1840s. I might be making that up, though. It could have been anywhere from like the 1840s to the 1870s. I don't know. Russia just went after Turkey. And this was one of the great mistakes of Western civilization, by the way. Russia went after Turkey and was going to try to take Constantinople back. Well, not that Russia had ever had Constantinople. They were going to try to get to Constantinople and take it all back from the Turks. And they were doing it. They were on their way. Baby likes to rock it like a boogie woogie choo choo train. They were on their way, and then England, the Great Britain, and someone else got involved on the side of the Turks. Can't remember who it was, but it was Great Britain was the main one, and then there was someone else involved too. And then they ran through the Russians like lightning through a loose goose. I mean, it was just, and it's been that way ever since. Every time Russia gets into a real fight with someone who can stand up to them, they get their asses handed to them.
Ukraine can't stand up to them.
and they're not taking the Ukraine. Part of Russia's problem is that their best equipment, their best planes, their best tanks, these things take them so long to produce that they can't afford to lose them. So they can't send their Su-35s and this stuff, or even they've only got one Su-57. But all of their best equipment they can't risk. Because it takes them literally years to handcraft each one. They don't have any way to mass produce or maybe not mass produce, but.
Are they both using AKs?
Yeah, but I'm not sure if they're using AK-74s or AK-47s. The Russians should be using the AK-74s. I don't know if the Ukrainians are using the 74s or the 47.
So the AK will finally win a war?
Yeah. This is why you're my best friend. It depends. If the Russians end up winning, then no, the AK-74 will win the war. Isaac says that Russia is using AK-12s. I don't know how many of those they have. From what I remember about the AK-12 is it never worked quite the way they advertised. Oh, look at this. Sharon says that recently proposed Maryland law, Bill 669, by Senator William Smith would allow a baby to be murdered up to 28 days after birth. I can't, I mean, there's just nothing to say at that point. You just say, okay, you're a murderer. You're not a legitimate voice.
Why can't it just go all the way up to 18?
Yeah, why 28 days?
See, that's a great, go clean your room.
No.
Yes, aborted.
Yeah, now suddenly you're back to Torah, though, at that point. They can't do that.
See how long that fire lasts.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it's not even insanity. It's just sheer evilness. You could not produce enough newborn infants for there not to be people who'd adopt them. Once that child's out of the mother, there's no, that's nice.
See how long it lasts.
Well done. Once that child's out of that mother, there's no way to justify killing it. And if you do propose killing that child, then you're just
child sacrifice.
Yeah, I
We're
don't
still
even know what, I
sacrificing
don't
to
even know what to
Moloch.
say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's not words strong enough. It's like they have run out. We can't describe them anymore. That's a kind of a cool image. That's the way to preach right there with a fire in the background. And yeah,
You want some fire and brimstone? We brought it.
there's no way to adequately describe how evil that is. And in any society that would allow a man to propose that and not jail him, not only leave him free, but leave him in public office, that society is so compromised that you don't have to cooperate anymore. That's a society so evil, so twisted, so perverse that it's lost all legitimacy. You don't have to cooperate. You don't have to submit. You don't have to obey. You don't have to comply. You sure as hell don't have to pay taxes to those idiots.
Have you read the book of Maccabees?
I have not.
I've read a little bit of it. It's a pretty good book.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, all right, Antiochus takes over Israel.
Antiochus Epiphanes IV.
Yeah. Takes over Israel, and he says, all right, you cannot keep Torah. If you circumcise your children, we're going to kill the mother and the baby. And the Maccabees stood up and said, no, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could have compromised. They could have said, well, we could circumcise our children later.
Mm-hmm.
But Torah says, you circumcise your males on the 8th day.
Yeah.
And so they said, fuck you, and won.
Mm-hmm.
What's our fuck you point?
And why haven't we gotten to it yet?
I think we got to it a long time ago.
We've passed it a long
property
time ago.
taxes. That should have been the fuck you point.
Property taxes should have been the fuck you point. I agree 100%.
Because we don't own anything.
Yep. I could think of a bunch of fuck you points. Property taxes for sure. Income tax for sure. No fault divorce. Abortion. The no prayer in schools thing. Whenever they started screwing with the immigration stuff, all of these should have been fuck you points. Because, when they changed the immigration laws, that was just about stealing everything by replacement. Obviously, abortion speaks for itself. Prayer in school, when they started running God out of everything. But definitely property taxes, definitely income tax.
We were talking about this today. They've taken him out of it's the common era now instead of
Oh,
AD.
Yeah, we were in our little, I taught in assembly today, and it was really, really bad.
Oh, it was good.
It was good. But, we were talking about AD and BC a little bit tangentially off to the side. And how y'all know AD and BC, and y'all know, the left now, they don't like that. Now they say, for BC, they say BCE.
Yeah.
Means before Common Era. And AD, they call CE, Common Era. They didn't change the years. They didn't change the reference point. The reference point is still the birth of Christ, but they just didn't want Christ's name in it, so they just called it Common Era.
Yeah.
Oh, bullshit. It's not a Common Era. It wasn't a Common Era for another, 1,700 years? When did they open Japan up? It was a long time before the era got common.
I mean, even Jesus had a fuck you point. When the Israelites, when they were selling things, inside the temple, he would have flipped some tables over. He's like, no, you're not going to do this inside the temple. You do it off the Temple Mount.
He braided a whip, went in there, scattered stuff, he ran their property off.
Yeah.
He let all the goats and doves and everything go, and was throwing their money around and everything. For a private property fanatic like me, you kind of course, that property was in his house. And technically it's all his anyway, so I can still be a private property fanatic. Oh, Nixon. Nixon did a bunch of stuff that should have triggered everybody. He took us off the gold standard. He put on price controls. He put on, I think he put on wage controls too. He made the EPA. He made HUD, and I think he made OSHA. Nixon, as much as he hated commies, he was a damn commie.
Yeah. I heard that's why when JFK was shot, he was going to put us back on the gold standard. He was going to do away with the central banking system.
Well, Nixon came after Kennedy.
All right, but when did the central bank come in? I mean,
That was 1912. Yeah,
Right.
the Federal Reserve and all that.
he was going to do away with the Federal Reserve, and I heard that's why he was shot.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve was another place where we should have
Yeah.
rose up and shot a bunch of people. We should have shot Alexander Hamilton when he proposed all
Allegedly,
that
we're
debt.
not shooting anybody. This is allegedly. We've got to cover asses.
Hi, what are they gonna do? Throttle my channel? Okay, Sharon says we just had a huge explosion and a bunch of smaller ones out by our airport. All right, Sharon, good luck. We hope everything's okay. Let us know what happened. Yeah, Bear Claw says go Burr. Aaron Burr was the guy who ended up killing Alexander Hamilton. 1913. I thought the BCAT 78 was saying that the Federal Reserve was 1913. I was thinking the Federal Reserve Act was passed in 1912, but I could have been wrong. Don't go kidnapping Whitmer, guys. Do you remember how many people they initially arrested for that? The Whitmer kidnapping plot? I do. It was 14.
Yeah, I was going to say 15, but
Yeah, they initially arrested 14 men for the Whitmer plot. You know how many they're trying?
like 4, ain't it?
4.
Because all the other ones were
All
FBI's.
the other ones were informants.
Yeah.
I think I heard that 2 pled out, but But yeah, the whole thing was a damn government sting operation. They're like, who can we find that's dumb enough? And they do the same thing every time. They get one of the guys on some stupid charge, or they're like, oh, we're going to take your kids away. You've got to introduce one of our people into the group. And so this guy who's been compromised by somebody stupid, marijuana or something, he's like, he brings an informant in and introduces them, and then that guy's like, hey, y'all know what? I got access to machine guns. We should blow up a bridge. And it's always a bridge. It's a bridge. If someone ever tells you that they want you to help them blow up a bridge, it's an informant. I swear to you. I promise you. It's an informant. If they come to you and say, I want to blow up a bridge, let's go scout the bridge. Because once they get you to scout the bridge, and it's always a civilian bridge, it's not like a bridge to the Pentagon or something. It'll be like they got some guys up here in our local area. This was years ago, probably 25 years ago now. It was a long time. Well, maybe not that long, but probably 20 years ago. And that's how they did it. And they got an informant in, and he said, let's go blow up Spaghetti Junction. And he got them to go down there and look at, they drove down to Atlanta and drove around Spaghetti Junction. They probably just went down there so they could go to Hooters. That's probably why the 4 guys went with them. They're thinking, oh, if we go to Spaghetti Junction, we're going to drive right past Hooters. Sure, we'll go scout it. And that's all that happened. A bunch of there's 4 of them, 4 drinking buddies, got this informant inserted into their midst. He got them to take a drive down to Atlanta and take a look at Spaghetti Junction. And the next thing they know, they're arrested. No one had bombs. No one was making bombs. These were, I knew one of the guys fairly well. And these were just some old men who like to sit around and drink beer and talk shit. And not even like really bad shit. I guarantee you there was a Hooters trip in there somewhere. So if they want you to blow up a bridge, it's an informant. That guy's FBI. Let's blow up a bridge. Get him out right then. Just say, no, go away, go, sorry. Or keep him around, because now you know who the informant is. And so now you know what he's working at, but I'd get rid of him anyway. Yeah, he's going to fool someone. KDE's talking about a book, Tragedy and Hope 101. Isaac got to meet Cliven Bundy. And, you know, Cliven Bundy did stand up to the feds. BCAT says they found more shell casings related to JFK a few years ago when they were replacing a roof. The casings were all different calibers. Bush Sr. was allegedly a team lead on one of the kill teams. Huh. Read Fry the Brain, great book about sniping, and it covers many historical snipers. That sounds like an interesting book. Fry the Brain. Okay. So here's my problem with Kennedy. And I know Kennedy's something of a hero right now in right-leaning circles. He was a immoral asshole. He was just immoral. Just straight up stick it in anything that moved for any reason, no matter what. I don't trust a man who'd share a girlfriend with his brother. That's gay. I'm sorry, that's gay. Here, I'm done with her, you take her. No, there's something deeply perverse about that. The only reason two men share a woman is because they wish the woman wasn't in between them. That's the only reason I can get for two men to share it with.
They want to eliminate the middle woman?
Yeah, eliminate the middle woman. The ground rules for this threesome are that we never make eye contact. Oh, we made eye contact. Okay, the ground rules are no, you know, okay. And they didn't share at the same time, but still, it's just.
These multi-tools work.
All right, Isaac says his great uncle was friends with JFK. He only had good things to say. All right, Isaac, fine. I never met the man, obviously. I don't know anything about him except what I've read.
Isaac, you're fired.
Yeah. Isaac's fired. You're out of here. You want to have sex with your brother. You wanted to have sex with Robert Kennedy too, didn't you?
Allegedly.
Damn Massachusetts weirdos.
I bet he's warmer than we are right now.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes. Oh, I just had a cramp. Woo! I am so old. I'm just sitting here and I got a cramp. And I've done nothing useful all day long, too, by the way. It's not like I exercised earlier and I'm having a cramp.
I hate the cramp you get when you're sleeping, when it wakes you up and your legs all cramped up.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. KDE says, I prefer two to three wives, one at a time. That's what we call serial monogamy, young men. Big Country, West Virginia. How you doing, Big Country? Grandpa always said that the only thing JFK did was get shot. He thought he was an idiot, and if he hadn't have been shot, then he probably would have went down as a pretty terrible president. I tend to agree, Big Country, because he really didn't accomplish anything. He had the worst vice president in modern history, probably in history. Lyndon Johnson was a truly deranged individual. He was deeply screwed up in the head.
He's better than Kamala?
Well, yeah. No, you're right. I take that back.
That's the second.
But Kamala hasn't got to be president yet and really screw everything up. Now, I mean, there's every indication that she will.
Could you imagine?
Unfortunately, yeah. Can you imagine that? Yeah, that crazy lady signing bills.
Yeah, that's what I said. Damn
Fly, my pretties, fly!
jackal sounding when she laughs.
Oh, I'm melting! I'm melting! Isaac likes JFK, but he doesn't like the rest of the Kennedys. Worse than camel toe? You know, LBJ was also a raging racist. I think he hated Mexicans more than he hated black people, but he didn't like either one of them very much. Johnson was a psycho. Did you ever hear of the forbidden bookshelf? I have not. That's what I say when I know. We're doing well, big country. Can't complain. It's a little cold out here. It's very cold out here.
Yeah. Fire is struggling.
Fire is struggling. So you had to take the rest off just to let it breathe, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I can help this real quick. Here, talk for a minute.
Now he brings out the gasoline.
Our tower structure needed to be modified into a pyramid structure. Oh my gosh, it is wet over here.
Yep.
I think most of our fire is going into the ground. You're supposed to be talking.
I know we're trying to think of something to say.
You think about what you say before you say it?
I try to when I'm on camera.
That sounds exhausting. I'd never have anything to say.
Now you see my problem.
If I had to think about it first.
Better at drinking than talking.
It's starting to look a little better. Oh, too much smoke in the eye. Smoke gets in your eye. Smoke gets in your eye. They asked me how I knew my true love was true. Okay. Yeah, I got a lot of smoke in that eye. That was ugly. Okay, very cold and no comprehension of history, sadly. Deflection, and I'm fairly certain a few played chess. What?
Take it as a compliment.
I think Mountain Truth was talking about us.
It'll be all right. We'll talk about him later.
I play chess. Kind of. I mean, I don't know if I'd call what I do playing, but I play around at chess. But no comprehension of history, sadly.
I'd agree. I didn't pay attention in history class.
I feel like I've got a pretty good grasp of history. That's kind of my thing. I like history. Okay, Keith Martin says, I'm insulted, Mountain Truth. Mountain Truth, are you on the chess app? Do you play chess with me? Keith Martin says, I write that because there's no way those who are really running things are going to let Kamala Harris even look like she's in charge. I don't know. They let Biden. Does Biden look like he's in charge?
No, he definitely doesn't.
Oh, God, big country. And this is West Virginia. Says it's going to be 11 up there tonight. Aaron Goodman's out. Aaron, good night, sir. Thank you.
We appreciate you hanging in this long.
I don't, the dog, there's another female in heat here local. So I haven't seen him for a few days. He's a very happy puppy right now. Oh, Mountain Truth 1 is trying to offend me in a nebulous way. You can't really, I'm not smart enough to be offended nebulously. You have to kind of just go right at it. It's easy to do, just stick at some very simple things. You can insult my beard, that would hurt my feelings. Insulting my understanding of history hurts my feelings. But
Which parts did we get wrong?
I don't know. Mountain Truth 1, though, I'm trying to think. Of all the people I play chess with, there's really only one who beats me that much. So
That's probably Mountain Truth.
no, it's a Turkish guy. His is like too Lucky Luke or something, and he kicks my ass. But he's about the only one. So that means I probably beat you. Now I feel bad for you. We're gonna only say and do nice things for Mountain Truth 1 deeds the rest of the evening. He gets his ass kicked in chess by a not great chess player. So I'm sure he's fairly embittered. So everyone say something nice to Mountain Truth. Okay. If you say something bad about the Marine Corps, he won't be offended. He will kill you. Yeah, I would be like, what? That would be hard to. I have never beaten him in chess. Oh, well, then I've never played you, because I've beaten everyone I've played at least once. What is JFK's downfall?
That bullet that went through his head.
Yeah, that was pretty. When his wife had to pick his head off the back of the trunk, that was pretty much.
Yeah, that was the low point.
Yeah, no, JFK, he was just a feckless, as far as I'm concerned, unaccomplished pretty boy. You know, he ran around on his wife constantly, kept getting STDs, just never accomplished anything. And like someone else said earlier in the chat, if he hadn't gotten killed, he probably would have been a very unremarkable president. He was only elected, it was a very close election. He beat Nixon by Chicago, basically. And of course, Chicago was so corrupt even back then that their elections were completely rigged even then. So you can't even really say for sure that he won the election. Hunter Kirk said Mountain Truth is fabulous. He is fabulous. Fabulous! Pete can't beat us to it. He said a nasty bullet wound to the head. All right, Les is trying to figure out what happened with the explosions at the airport. Isaac is back. If he was ineffective, why kill him? So, I'm probably going to lose my conspiracy theorist card right here. Y'all are going to pull my membership card in the club. But I tend to think
He's still alive.
he's not dead. Him and Elvis have a garage band in Oklahoma City. They wanted to go somewhere where they wouldn't be recognized. They play folk music in the style of Peter, Paul, and Mary. No, I think he was killed by one guy. I don't think there was a great conspiracy there. I'm sorry. People are throwing things at me right now.
JFK probably slept with his wife.
I mean, what was that guy's name?
Oswald?
Oswald. John Oswald or something Oswald. I can't remember Oswald's first name. He was crazy.
Harold Oswald.
He was just straight up nuts. Yeah, and he kept trying to defect to communist countries, and these communist countries kept sending him back because they're like, you're crazy. Yeah.
You're too crazy for the commies.
So it was a good couple of shots. There's no doubt that it was good marksmanship, but it was not impossible marksmanship, especially not for a Marine, especially not back in the 60s. Even when I was in, we trained at 500 yards. That was max, obviously, but it was to pass the course of fire, you had to take, I think it was 10 or 15 shots at 500 yards in a timed period. It wasn't just like, take as long as you want. You had a set amount of time to take these shots. So it wasn't an impossible. I think there were 3 shots that they'll admit to or whatever, and I think 2 hit him and 1 missed. I don't remember all the details. Someone can fill me in. So I don't think there was a huge conspiracy around Kennedy's death or assassination, because these people aren't that smart. They're not that good at this. We can tell when they're doing shit. They put it on granite pillars in Hartwell, Georgia, for some crazy reason. All right, Chuck F. I think y'all got it wrong with Russia, Ukraine. Jeff kind of got it right. Russia is pussyfooting. Russia could swallow Ukraine in days. Think about how doctors were psyoped by COVID. Soldiers are the docs. Elvis is dead as shit. Now, you see, I just can't even take you seriously now. Elvis is dead. A doc my mom worked for was one on his autopsy. Huh. JFK threatened the Fed and oil men. See, nothing I know about JFK makes me think he threatened the Feds and the oil men. His dad was in the midst of all of that. Joe Kennedy was a bad person, an extremely corrupt man. He drove his son's careers, and there's nothing about JFK's life that makes me think that he was going against the elites. He was one of the elites, and I just don't think he was going to try to blow up the Fed or the oil men. Okay, Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, I knew it was Harvey.
John Harvey Oswald?
Harold, something, I don't know.
Yeah, and Isaacs points out 6'5" Carcano, he bought this surplus Italian military rifle.
I know who shot JFK. The Clintons.
The Clinton, yeah. He knew something about Hillary. He suicided himself. He shot himself from that book depository. The rifle Oswald used was an Italian bolt-action World War II surplus called the Carcano, and it was actually a very good rifle. Isaac says I need to watch JFK's speech about secret societies. I haven't seen that, so I will. Okay, Mountain Truth's back. Seriously, JFK was killed by one guy? You will never beat me in chess. The info eradicated the narrative 50 years ago. Different calibers, different vectors. Come on, man. All right, Mountain Truth. Apparently, we need to play a chess game. So whatever, challenge me. Let me know what your username is on chess.com, and I'll challenge you. I'm on there as the Revolting Man, so I'm pretty easy to find. But we will play a series of chess games, and we'll see if I never beat you. Lee Harvey Oswald. Thank you, B-Cat. I don't know why I couldn't come up with that. We went down to 28 viewers. Oh. And we'll play some chess, and we'll see if I can beat you or not. All right, you can't have not figured this out yet with JFK.
You have struck a nerve with JFK.
Yes. You got to have a picture of JFK and Dean Martin on the wall. George Washington says we need more grassy knolls and magic bullets these days. Just saying. Chess, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Chess is combat for me. I get so spun up about chess. Oh my God, I will lose my ever-loving mind about a chess game. I am ashamed of myself. I actually, Adam up at North Point Axe is my accountability partner for chess, because I'll get so I'm about to scare some people right here. One time I was losing chess games so badly that I got so angry that I picked up a bathroom scale and smashed it over my head until it was destroyed. I have a problem when it comes to chess.
Okay, Mountain Man, you might win.
All right, Mountain Truth 1 Deeds, whatever your username is on chess.com, let me know and we'll play. And by the way, if I can't beat you, then I will publicly.
It means you're cheating.
It means you're cheating. I will publicly admit it. Yeah, Isaac, send me the speech. He was going to release the UFO files on aliens. Okay, I'll buy that. The aliens did it. I'm good with that.
It was Putin's fault.
Hey, George Washington. So the rifle, I'm assuming you're talking about the George Washington's been with us for a long time too, since 1776. The first one I started working on,
Wait a minute. So JFK's not dead. Elvis is not dead, and George Washington is not dead.
George Washington is the manager for the band.
Damn.
He books their gigs for them.
The conspiracies are getting deep. Oh, the frogs are gay.
Yes. The frogs are gay. I'm kind of retarded, but the frogs are gay. I do nothing but like steal Steven Crowder's material.
right.
I got to stop listening to so much Crowder. Because it's not that good. I'm kidding, it's great. Actually, Dave Landau is the best one on that show.
Yeah, he's pretty witty.
And then Crowder is really good probably a third of the time. And then Gerald A. is wickedly funny about 10% of the time. JFK was a lizard person. No, George Washington's from Howell County. Oh, that rifle you're talking about is doing fine. The problem was the bolt. I don't know what was wrong with the bolt, but it was a Palmetto State Armory bolt, and it just doesn't work. I swapped bolts, and it works fine. This is after I swapped, everything else, gas tubes, and I think I just swapped the gas tube, but I took the gas block off a couple times and swapped the gas tube and lubed it so much. Anyway, it was the bolt for whatever reason. I don't know if the bolt was out of spec. Thanks for the text, Isaac. I will try to watch that soon. But for some reason, the bolt wasn't working. I got a different bolt in it. It does fine. I still got the bad bolt over there in here. I'm not sure why I'm keeping it, but I kept it. Because I guess I swapped out the bolt in the original carrier, and that worked. So I don't think the problem was the carrier. The problem was the bolt. And I'm not a good enough, I'm not a gunsmith. I don't know why that wasn't working. What was out of spec? Was it too tight? I wonder if it was just too tight for the chamber. If that chamber was a little on the big, or a little on the tight side, and the bolt was a little on the big side, and maybe the tolerances just didn't mesh up. I don't know. Maybe it was a headspace thing or something. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know. But the rifle works fine now. If you're talking about the BOF rifle works great. I would like to change the scope mount at some point, and I'd like to change the buttstock at some point. But that's just because they're not a big deal. The rifle works fine. A different buttstock would let me get a different cheek weld. And then the scope mount to me only has one locking nut. Just doesn't seem secure enough. But those are minor issues, and it works well. Oh, yeah, no. Big Country, Alex Jones is almost a prophet. He has been right about everything. He is exhausting to watch. I don't have the energy to keep up with him, but he's been right almost about everything. The only thing I think he was wrong on, it was the Sandy Hook. And I think Sandy Hook, there was a lot of questions about Sandy Hook. I wasn't sure it was real when it happened, because they were having that drill. The drill was going on right there, and all the stuff was pre-staged, but it's really hard to fake 26 dead elementary school kids. Hey, Lance Corporal veteran, you have missed quite a bit.
No. We found out JFK's alive.
JFK is alive in a band with Elvis Presley in Oklahoma City.
George Washington.
With George Washington is their manager, and it's a folk band. Hey, Katie, have a good night. Thank you.
And Epstein didn't kill himself.
And Epstein didn't kill himself. That we all agree with. Agree on. Yeah, 223 Wild has less throat than 556. It actually has less throat, and I think it has a little bit less lead too. The whole chamber is just a little narrower and a little shorter, whilst being longer than a 223 chamber.
And the AK is going to win a war.
And the AK is going to win a war.
Man, we have solved life's mysteries tonight.
Mountain Truth, tell me your username so we can play a game. Jeez.
Maybe it's Mountain Truth.
Oh, well, I mean, in that case.
That's why he's going to win at chess.
Lorena Baba was a setup. That bitch. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I don't have any more credibility with the conspiracy theory said. I think John F. Kennedy was killed by Lee Harvey Oswald, and I think Sandy Hook probably really happened.
Well, I mean, he wasn't really killed by Leo. I mean,
Well,
he
no,
was
right,
killed by
but
the
he was
bullet.
shot. Yeah.
But, you know,
The aliens put his head back together.
it was all green screen.
It was all good. He wasn't even there. It was a. It was.
If
a
it was
clone.
Biden, he wouldn't have been there because that man's made more damn videos in a damn, not the White House. That
Oh yeah, his fake White House.
yeah,
set.
they make fake White House sets for him. Like why? I don't understand why.
You just know that, like right behind that wall in that set is his hospital bed, and they give him a shot of adrenaline right before a press conference, so he's, oh, the thing, yeah,
It's Trump Putin's fault.
Scranton, previous administration, my predecessor,
Corn pop.
the predeceased. Pretty soon they're gonna have him hooked up like a cancer patient, where he's just got a socket in him where they can just shoot adrenaline right into him, so they can try to keep him awake.
Can you imagine living like 50 years from now? They're looking back on right now on his presidency. Like, what the fuck was? Well, 81 million votes.
Mass
Awesome.
delusion psychosis.
There was some dumbass people back then.
I did miss the whole JFK assassination by about 13 years. I'll admit that, because I wasn't born yet. Yeah, big country. I think he has retracted the Sandy Hook thing, not before it's about to cost him tens of millions of dollars. Oh, God, John Wayne Bobbitt was a Marine. I forgot that. Oh, God, Marines love crazy women. The crazier, the better. What do you think the odds, 50-50, are most preppers will have to open their first bucket of food this year or next and normally starve? Ooh, it's always dangerous making predictions like this. I will tell you this, it feels closer than it ever has. Yo, my prepper sensibility came into being around Y2K, you know all that stuff.
This was my preps for Y2K. I had about 20 cans of canned food, and I had a barrel of kerosene. I was like, all right, we're going to do fine. We will do fine.
How big was the barrel?
It was like 30 gallons.
Oh, well, that's a lot. That's a fair amount of kerosene.
But the food part, you know.
Yeah, well, no, you beat me because my preps for Y2K were a Mini 14 and 2,000 rounds of ammunition.
Yeah, I didn't, yeah. No, I had a 22.
I had no food.
Maybe like 10 bullets.
I was thinking, well, I got 2,000 rounds of ammunition. I can get me food. No. Oh, I also had a single action Ruger Blackhawk 357. I was ready. I didn't have a holster for it though.
I took all the food. I took all the canned foods out of the cabinets, and I put them downstairs in the basement. My wife was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm preparing for Y2K.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I got 20 cans of food in the basement and 10 rounds of 22. Ah, get some!
A barrel of kerosene.
A barrel of kerosene. I'll light this whole bitch up. We'll all go up in flames.
Now we're rebuilding in my image.
I only need 1 round for the kerosene. The other 9 are for you. Ah, young men.
I'm glad that didn't pan out.
Thank God. I remember I was quite religious at the time. I was also quite addicted to pornography, but, quite religious. Those two things tend to go together.
Yeah.
And we were at a all-night prayer meeting, a prayer vigil for the new year. And I remember looking at my watch, and it was 11:58, and I was like, "Oh, here we go!" And so I went back to pray, and I look up, and it was 12:05, and the lights hadn't gone out. And
Our lights actually went out.
Oh!
It was awesome. I was like, yes. Our power went out.
10 rounds is too many. Here, take 5. It's not fair.
It was awesome.
I would have lost my mind.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't go out right at 12, but it went out that day.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, yes, it's on now. We were in a snowstorm, so.
I thought I was ready. So, this year or next, will we need I tell you what, China is saying that they're having the worst wheat harvest in their recorded history. Ukraine is not going to produce any wheat this year, or almost no wheat this year. I shouldn't say any. So I feel like if it's closer to happening this year than it has been in my lifetime. There are wars. There are droughts out west. Man, this is why we prep. You don't take out insurance because you're going to have a wreck. You take out insurance in case you have a wreck. We don't prep because we know when and what's going to happen. We prep because of what could happen. So I hate making predictions because every time we make a prediction and it doesn't come true, someone else is like, oh, these guys are nuts. I'm out of here. And I don't live for prepping. I don't.
I prep to live.
I prep to live.
That's good. Put that on the shirt.
So for me, at one point we were this close to being prepped. We were right there, and I got lazy because we were so close, and I quit putting up food, and then we ate our food. we used a lot of it. Because what we used to do is we would have, flour and rice and beans and sugar all in buckets, and we'd use the oldest bucket and then refill it. And we were so far ahead on that stuff, at one point we quit refilling and we used a lot of it. But we're still better. I don't have a year's worth of food. Well, if we count all that corn, we got a year's worth of food. If we count all the corn we've got probably 5 years worth of food.
You just reminded somebody of that.
Yeah. C103, you still on here, brother?
So what's the diesel price now? $7?
Oh, I don't know. The last I saw it was over $5.
Yeah, about $6. So I mean, if it gets up to $10, $15,
Wes S is here.
The food prices are going to really spike.
Wes S says we fairly close to spreading manure for sure this year. Gonna have to fertilize and then let the land go fallow for a bit. Oh, C103 is still here. C103, you better be looking to your corn because we sure are looking at your corn. What do you feed your cow? So I'm assuming you're talking to me, Lance Corporal Veteran. I don't know if Buddy Bear's still with us or not. We have a Dexter, and she's not very big. She's still pretty young. She's right at a year, not quite a year yet, I don't think. And so we actually have enough grass for her in the summer to keep her on grass. And in the winter, we have a little bit of grass, and then we give her hay. And then every once in a while, we'll throw her some treats. She really likes sweet potatoes. She really likes squash. She really likes watermelons. You can give her just whole, corn on the cob. Mark, I'm not feeding your corn to my cow. Bring me some back, he says. Gas is cheap where I'm at $3.78 at Sam's Club today. Okay, Wes just bought diesel for $4.99, but that's deep in the heart of Texas. Reminds me of the one I love. Deep in the heart of diesel at $4.99. I know I saw it at like 5:30 or something Thursday down in Atlanta.
Yeah. So what's going on with these truckers?
Oh, Ted Cruz did a lap with them the other day. The problem is they're doing laps around the Beltway, and then they're going back out to Maryland. And until they pull up in front of the White House and park and start honking horns,
Yeah.
you know, I guess they're probably going to run out of steam this weekend.
Huh.
Rachel just paid $4.80 for regular.
So it's not up there yet, but if it gets, $10 range, it's...
Wow, Dylan paid $90 for a round bale the other day. Dylan, I haven't checked here for probably 2 months, but the last time I priced a round bale around here, it was $60. And we're paying, I think it's $8 for a square bale. Raise politicians, you won't ever need to buy fertilizer again. Lance Corporal Veteran just paid $111 for a full tank in California. Our company credit cards, when we go to get gas, only authorize up to $99 at the pump. So I can't fill my truck's tank because it hits that $99 before it fills the tank.
Yeah, I think that depends on the gas station you're at, because I just filled up Friday, and it was like 130, 125, 130.
Okay, Mountain Truth says, it is amazing folks think they have a clue about what is about to happen, and yet they don't understand what has happened in the past 100 years. Bolsheviks, World War II, Great Depression, Federal Reserve. Hey, Mountain Truth, jackass, most of those things happened more than 100 years ago. If you're going to insult people, at least make sure your insults are accurate. The Bolsheviks were 1917. This is 2022. It was 105 years ago. Federal Reserve was 1913. Moron.
Bet those people wish they prepped.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about not understanding history.
Here we are now.
Isaac just got a square bale for $5. Timothy says in rural Oklahoma, gas is $3.59, but we drill and refine it right here. I didn't know Oklahoma had its own refineries.
According to Mountain Truth, he's probably wrong.
Bear Claw asks, do you stock MREs? I cannot afford to stock MREs.
I've been getting a few MREs.
Really?
Yeah.
What are they costing?
I don't buy them.
Oh. You have an inside connection.
Not many yet, but it's...
The last time I priced MREs, they were like $20 a piece.
Yeah, when I was in one of the Army surplus stores around Atlanta, it was like $82 for a case. I don't know how many come in a case.
12.
So $82, is that bad?
What's 12 into 80?
That was out the heat packs.
Oh, they didn't have the heat packs?
It was over 100 for the heat pack if they got them with the heat packs.
I angered Mountain Truth. Hey, jackass, nothing has changed. Ignorance sits around a campfire. Yes, but at least ignorance knows how to count back 100 years.
I mean, I think it's pretty fun sitting around a campfire.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fun being ignorant.
Yeah, as long as I'm not ignorant on purpose.
Double fun being ignorant around a campfire.
That's right. And you're watching us.
And you're watching us. And you can't count back to 100. 2022 minus 100, 1922. I refuse to believe I can't beat you in chess. I don't believe
he will beat the brakes off you.
Some kind of idiot
Four
savant.
moves. 4 moves. He's got you in 4 moves.
He's a Rain Man when it comes to chess. Gotta move the queen. Gotta move the queen. H3. Hey. MREs are not food, Hunter Kirk says. Okay. Do you really think anything has changed?
I've gotten older.
Yeah, a few things have changed. MREs here in Hawaii cost $12 for one right now at the commissary, but if you have AD friends, they can score you some for free. I think, if I remember, Rachel is a military wife, as I recall. Navy, if I'm getting it right, Rachel. Forgive me if I forgot that. I'm sorry. Hey, you can eat trespassers. Apparently, Oklahoma has many refineries. B-Cat wants everyone to calm down. I'm sorry, B-Cat. Mommy and Daddy were fighting. We'll stop.
Calm down. We haven't got started.
What do boll weevils have to do with Russia? Damn U.S. Eat lizard people.
Yeah, they're not kosher.
Constipation in a waterproof bag. Yeah, Wes S. backs me up. Rachel is a Navy bride. And hold on, 6 kids, right, Rachel? Lance Corporal Veteran says, my reserve unit was funny. Most guys refused to eat MRE, so they would throw the votes down in front of us. I think he meant boxes. Down in front of us at the end of drill, tell us make them disappear. So we took them home. So even in the Marine Corps and active duty, you know, sometimes we'd be out for 3 weeks at a time, and everyone would get so sick of those damn MREs that when you come out of the field at the end of the day, you know, there were 2 or 3 boxes in every truck. You know, the tow missiles always mounted on a Humvee back then. So, you know, every gun would have a couple of boxes of MREs when we come out. And so everyone would just, you know, who's taking the MREs? Fine, I'll take them. Now I'm like, damn, I should have gotten all of them I could have gotten. But, you know, back then there were only 12 meals, period. When I first got into Corps, they were the dark brown bags. And they were, I think they were the color of shit as sort of just a warning, you know. It was dangerous signs are red, caution signs are yellow, you know, shit is brown. And there were some good meals back then. The beef frankfurters was good. The chicken and rice was good. The tuna noodle was edible. And that was about it. Oh, there was a pork chop that was okay. Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't eating food back then. I was eating abomination. But of the 12 meals, there were, you know, you were lucky if there were 6 you could eat, and, you know, 3 that you liked. So like corned beef hash was universally despised. We called it corned beef ass. It was the worst. Oh, and omelets and ham was, I thought, was even worse than corned beef ass. But that's because I didn't like corned beef, so I expected corned beef to be bad. I like eggs. I liked eggs and ham. And but if you had it was just awful. Oh, God, it was so gross. And, like, the bad meals also had bad sides in them, too. The good meals had, so if you got beef frankfurters, they had these potato chips in them. They were little sticks, but they were basically potato chips that looked like little sticks. That was really, really good. If you got corned beef ass, there was, like, you know.
French call them fries.
Yeah. There was, I can't remember what horrible thing was in there. It was like there was a granola bar. It was sawdust. We called it the sawdust bar. It was sawdust, and it was compressed so hard it was like a brick. It was a brick of sawdust. And that was constipation in a bag. Okay.
I want Mountain Truth to comment again.
Oh, that's right. Tuna and noodle had the chocolate nut cake in it. And the chocolate nut cake was highly sought after. I didn't like the chocolate nut cake, and I know everyone's going to make jokes about chocolate nut. I didn't like the chocolate nut cake as much as I liked the pound cake. I thought the pound cake was very, very good. But the chocolate nut cake was also good. Your MREs have cranberry in them?
when you're hungry, I think all those going to taste very,
Oh, yeah.
very nice.
Yeah, when you're hungry.
Corn or MRE?
Oh, Isaac, I recently made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with MRE bread, peanut butter and jelly that my grandfather bought several years before I was born. It still seems safe to eat. That peanut butter used to be packaged down there in Stone Mountain. I don't know if it still is. But yeah, the peanut butter was good, and the crackers. When you really got sick of everything else, you could always eat. Every MRE came with a pack of crackers and like something to go on them. Sometimes it'd be jelly. Oh, there was a blackberry jam that was really good. And then you get peanut butter a lot. And so usually by the end of a field op when you couldn't, my fire's doing nice on my back. I
Yeah,
wish
it's
I
doing-
could get my legs.
Yeah, my toes are cold.
I wonder if we
my
could
back
talk
is
over our
toasty.
shoulders. So when you really couldn't eat anything else anymore, you'd eat the peanut butter and whatever you got on, or you try to trade for peanut butter. The ceramic granola sharpening stone was in the corned beef ass. Yeah, nothing. There was nothing good in corned beef ass. Everything about it was awful. That's pretty good. The ceramic granola sharpening stone. That's a pretty good description of that thing. Let me ask a neutral question. How many good questions come to us seem legit or actual affront to common sense? You still won't beat me at chess. Tell me your username and we will play. I actually don't mind. I mean, I hate losing in the moment, but I like to play people who are better than me so I get better. Oh, the Arctic MREs. I'd never had one of the Arctic MREs. I know they had vastly more amounts of calories in them, but I never had one. Orange nut cake. The orange nut cake was good. I never had cranberry cake. Never. Did I have the maple? The maple sounds familiar. I might have had the maple.
Here we are now, entertaining.
C103 says that to tell you when he comes to get his corn to have extra cigarettes. Were you bumming cigarettes off of him?
Probably.
Oh, I'm so sorry, C103. I can't take him anywhere. Oh, yeah, the cheese spread. I forgot about the cheese spread. That was pretty good, too. It was almost like a Velveeta. I always ate the cheese spread with bread or crackers, only ate peanut butter with jelly. I liked the peanut butter by itself, just on the crackers. But you had to drink a lot of water. We used to play this, there was this cracker challenge where you would, I think it was one cracker, might have been two crackers, might have been one. But you would try to eat the crackers without drinking any water. You know, eat the crackers dry without any water in 2 minutes. And I've never seen anyone be able to do it. No one has ever once passed that challenge. Oh, Isaac, I went to a French chow hall in Sarajevo. We were part of they called us I-4. It was some kind of weird thing about Bosnia. It was in 97, I think. And so we were posted up in the international airport there in Sarajevo, and we were running patrols around Sarajevo. And the Germans were the gate guard. This was a NATO base, and the NATO was it NATO or the UN? I can't remember. I think maybe it was the UN, but it might have been NATO. Was securing the international airport, and the Germans were running the guard. They were guarding the gates, and they were unpleasant assholes. Holy shit! And the French ran the chow hall of all things. They were just doing everything they could to conform to negative racial stereotypes. But that chow hall was like a 5-star restaurant. I mean, it was crazy. All the food was in like those fancy metal servers with the little burners underneath. There was a salad bar that was like epic. There was this table in the middle, and the table was like in this wavy S shape. It was like fancy, and it was just piled with, it seemed like thousands of loaves of bread and rolls and of all these different kinds, just hundreds. It was crazy. I've never seen anything like it. It wasn't only like the best chow hall I've ever eaten in. It was probably one of the top 10 best restaurants I've ever eaten in. But then they had these weird shower tents, and they only let us take one shower for the whole week we were there. And then they guarded us while we were taking showers. There was like 3 Frenchmen in the shower tent with rifles just watching us take showers. I mean, they were like doing everything they could to conform to every negative racial stereotype. I have no idea what was up with those guys guarding us in the shower. It was not like they were at the front of the shower. They weren't like guarding the shower tent in case we were going to steal the shower tent. They were in the showers with us. Because, of course, you know, every time you take a shower in the military, in the field, or, you know, it's all one big room, and there's just a bunch of swinging dicks all in one giant room bathing together like a bunch of half-hearted homosexuals.
Don Lemon will be happy.
Don Lemon. Brian, it's the only reason Brian Stelter goes to war. It's for the showers. He wouldn't leave the country if it wasn't for the showers in war zones. Boy, the vanilla fudge bar. I never had that. I would put a packet of... These comments are going really quick. The chat is like incredibly active.
They're more interesting than us.
I can imagine Germans are pretty good at guarding gates by now. Ooh, Isaac, too soon. I worked with a German guy for a while, and we were talking about World War II. This is a terrible, terrible story. I shouldn't tell this story. And we were just talking about it all.
Famous last words.
Yeah, he'd actually served in he was born in East Germany, and he served in the East Germany, the communist East Germany army. And we were talking about World War II, and he got real quiet, and he kind of looked down, and he said, "Yeah, my grandfather died in a concentration camp." And I went, "Oh no, what?" And he said, "Yeah, he fell out of the guard tower." And it took me like 30 seconds to figure it out. And then I was like, "Oh, you son of a bitch." Too soon. But funny. Funny, but wrong. Yes, Isaac, I took showers with 3 Frenchmen. Some gay frogs. Bear claws back on Alex Jones.
You got a hernia exam from 2 women.
Oh yeah, I did. That completely made up for it too.
It was worth it.
Yes, that was worth it. I trade three Frenchmen in the shower anytime for a hot doctor and a hot nurse doing a hernia exam. Okay, Lance Corporal veteran. They gave us Arctic MREs once during mountain warfare training. I wasn't that impressed. I did mountain warfare training, and they didn't give us any Arctic MREs. And it was damn cold up there, too. That was Lance Corporal veteran. Now, was that not the hardest thing you've ever done in your life? I'm assuming it was Bridgeport. I think some guys have gone up to the New York one, but I think most Marines go to do Bridgeport.
Did you have to rappel?
I had lots of rappelling.
I'm glad you got plenty of practice.
I got plenty of practice.
You'll be doing it on Monday.
I'm doing it Monday. That was, mountain warfare training was just physically the most brutal thing I've ever done. I really made Mountain Truth angry.
I don't know why. I mean, you're so kind to him.
I was nice to him.
You and your mean tweets.
Yeah, damn it. He wants high gas prices. I was nice to him up to that 100-year thing, and then I was just like, oh, come on, do the math. That's science, damn it.
Science. Math is racist.
I helped interpret for Russian Air Force pilots in '93. We took them in the mess hall, and they were asking what kind of mushrooms they were. They were afraid they might be poisonous. Fucking Russians, man. They believe the craziest things. Someone told them, back in the 60s, their government told them that Marines, in order to get in the United States Marine Corps, you have to kill a family member. That they only, because they were worried that any American invasion, you know, the first forces to land would be the Marine Corps in theory. And so they wanted their people to they wanted their army to fight hard. So they started this rumor that to be a Marine, you had to kill your family members. And I've actually met a guy who was standing post with a Russian. I think it was in the first Gulf War, and he said the guy was just being crazy with him, just weird and standoffish, and he finally got the guy to talk, and the guy was like, he asked him, you know, which of your family members did you kill? It's like, what?
Is that where the devil dogs came up?
No, devil dog is, we got in 1918 there was a battle in France at Bellewood, And the Marine Corps didn't have a reputation as an infantry, a land-based infantry force at all. But the leadership had fought real hard to get us into that fight, and so the Army just wanted us to go away. They didn't want us there, and so they told us to go secure these woods that weren't important. And the battle plan was to go around the woods and cut them off and just have them surrender later. Well, they told these stupid Marines to go take these woods, and so they're like, "Hurrah!" And it ended up being this incredibly brutal fight. There were thousands of Germans in there, and they were all dug in, and it was just horrific. But the Germans said that the Marines fought like Teufelhundens, which is German for devil dog, so that's where the devil dog name comes from. And that battle was kind of when the Marine Corps earned its reputation as a infantry force, as opposed to an expeditionary. We had a good reputation already as an expeditionary force, but we weren't really respected as a large-scale infantry, unit.
See, we know history.
Yeah, Mountain Truth. Bellawood, 1918. Teufelhunden. I can even spell it. Teufelhunden. Teufelhunden. Would you like me to use it in a sentence? Okay. Russians gather mushrooms in the forest all of the time. I had to explain that in America we don't do that they are grown on a farm. There's an E in Teufel. There's another E in Teufel, Isaac. I think it's Teufel. The Iraqis we captured thought we would eat them if captured. The people have a high opinion of themselves. I am so tasty. They will eat me if they catch me. I have to make myself look stringy. Well, it is pronounced Teufel. Teufel? I think it's Teufel.
Okay, so maybe we don't know.
It's Teufel. Teufel. That's like a Richard Pryor movie, isn't it?
No, that's the toy.
Oh. And the same term leatherneck is because they wore leather collars to prevent the Muslim pirates from slashing their necks when boarding ships, I believe. That is one of the possibilities. They're not entirely sure, Isaac, but that's the one that most people say is most likely.
That sounds the coolest.
Yeah. Beer will not win arguments, but certainly start them. All right, we can test this theory. We can have a scientific. All right, beer. Start an argument. Make a proposition. Point, counterpoint. I'll take the opposing up. This beer won't start an argument. He's just being sullen. He's giving me the silent treatment. I'm trying to prove a point because we're in front of people. When we get home tonight, won't be able to shut him up.
And that's how much he's drank all night. You can't even blame it on the beer.
Can't even blame it on the beer. I'm just fucking ignorant. It's just stupid. There's no excuse for that shit.
I brought 6 and I've drank 5.
And you're the one who's got to drive home. I'm just going to walk in the house. I'm going to have to drive you home. All right. So we have categorically proven that beer will not start an argument, or at least this particular beer won't start an argument. Let me know if that one talks back to you. That might prove its theory true.
This one's pretty interesting.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Imagine everyone walking around with the brown plastic spoons in their pockets. Now we eat you. For those of you who don't know, old camis used to have a little hole, a little place in the pocket where you could stick a pen in. Now, you categorically, under no circumstances, were you ever allowed to have a pen in there. Please don't ask me why they put a little pen slot in your pocket, but it was completely forbidden for you to ever put a pen in that pen hole. Pen hole? Pen slot? I don't know what the right term is. However, when you were in the field, you could put a spoon in there. All the MREs came with this brown plastic spoon. and almost everyone had a damn spoon in their pocket. I don't know why. I don't know if maybe we were just going to be able to, if you spur of the moment, you're patrolling through the woods and you come up on a pan of lasagna and you just got to get it as quick. I don't know what the thing was. And then there was also these loops on your flak jacket, and lots of guys had put it in their flak jacket. I think I kept mine in my flak jacket. No, I seem to remember having it in the pocket too. I don't know. You couldn't put a spoon, you couldn't put a pen in the pen slot, you couldn't put your hands in your pockets, and if you ever so much as even looked at the carry handle of your rifle in a way that might think someone would interpret it to be carrying it, you were going to get court-martialed. They called it a carry handle. That did not mean it was a carry handle. We could use our cargo pockets in the field, and we could use your cargo pockets if it didn't show in the rear. But the problem is your camis always had to be, in such, highly starched when you were in the rear that you couldn't open them. They were so stiff that if you tried to open your cargo pockets, they'd snap in half because there was so much damn starch on them. Air Force gloves. I do remember the Air Force gloves. Mexican beers might not start a random argument, but they do blast their music pretty damn loud. Yeah, but only from Friday night to Sunday morning or Monday morning, and then the rest of the time.
Those motherfuckers are working.
Yeah. MJ is here. Now, how many rounds could you have bought instead of that beer? None. Jeff bought the beer. I bought 200 rounds last month. I haven't bought any rounds this month. I need to order some.
You bought 200 rounds last summer?
Last month.
More than I bought last month.
You know what? Maybe I bought the 200 rounds the month before, and then I bought 9mm last month. But I think the thing I bought last was 9mm. So it must have been the month before that I bought the 200 rounds of 5.56. Plus, what do I need ammunition for if I don't have beer to protect? I can have everything else. No, I'm kidding. Wasn't even a good joke. Did you ever wear the digital camis? No, I never got to wear the digital camis. When I got recalled after September 11th for a year, and so they were just introducing the digital camis then. But there weren't enough of them to go around, and they didn't give them to us, us recall guys, because we were only going to be there for a year, and everyone wanted the digital camis so bad. So they were wearing them when I was in the Corps, but I never got to get any. Did you ever use any carry handle mounted optics in your time training? No. I want to say we used, no carry handle mounted optics at all. And they're generally considered relatively useless. They're so high up that you can't get a cheek weld and use them. But we didn't have any. We didn't use them at all. We did use night vision, but obviously, we were wearing in the night vision. I will say every Mexican I've ever worked with are some real badass workers. Best work ethic I have seen yet. My experience with the Mexicans, let's say Hispanics, because they're not all Mexicans, they will work balls to the wall, just all out for like 3 or 4 hours, but then they quit for 2. And then they come back after 2 hours and work balls to the wall for 3 or 4 hours.
It's a siesta.
Yeah, you're probably right. Oh, look at this. Jeff was looking for Russian beer earlier. Russian beer, Balitka's, is triple strength and tastes great. Bought the last 30 bottles from my source. He knows a guy.
He knows Putin.
Will be unobtainium soon. I have no doubt beers can cause major upset. Not sure whiskey can promote the Undertaker. Well, I quit drinking whiskey because whiskey gets me in trouble.
quit drinking beer too.
Yeah, I sip it. Hell, I'm almost. Look at that. I'm probably 3/4 of the way done with that. Maybe not. Maybe 2/3. I don't know. No, I really like whiskey. I like bourbons and I like ryes. But I only drink good bourbons and good ryes, and so then you drink a lot of it, and then you're just completely wasted. And I don't enjoy being drunk anymore. I don't like the hangovers. I don't like the next day.
Pussy.
9% is double strength, not triple strength on my prepper. An average beer is 3.5 to 5.5, so I guess you could say triple strength. Target Sports USA has good ammo prices now. They have tons of steel case for really cheap. It's oak barreled whiskey that gets you in trouble. Yeah. And I'd also only drink. So I had a whole thing. Everything's always a production with me. One day I'll have to tell you my system for rating movies. It's very, very complex. But I had an approach to whiskey.
I bet Men in Tights fit in there
Men
somewhere.
in Tights is the greatest movie ever made.
Exactly.
Actually, the second greatest. The greatest movie ever made was From Dusk Till Dawn. Second greatest movie is Men in Tights. No, there's tiers, and it gets really complicated. So, like, there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and you can have a tier 3 level 10 movie that doesn't compare to a tier 1 level 1 movie. It gets very complicated. But when it comes to whiskey, I had some rules. I only drank single malt, no blends, unless I was drinking scotch, and then I drink blended scotch, and I'd never drink Canadian whiskey, no matter what. And then prefer ryes over everything else. Ryes or bourbons. I only drink ryes or bourbons. So obviously, if you're drinking a single malt, it's always coming out of a oak barrel. Taking beer break. One worked with me. Fact. Bourbon and beer, you're in the clear. Danny Zaragoza, Beer Hound. Is that a song? Your movie rating system has 2 parts. Does it have Mel Gibson, and did it make you cry? End of story. Well, that's only one part, because if it's a Mel Gibson movie, it made me cry. I cry at Mel Gibson movies. It's just the way it is. They get me. Mel Gibson understands me, and he speaks to my soul.
Yeah, that Lethal Weapon was a tearjerker. We didn't make that one, did he? You're talking about the ones he produced?
Yeah. You know what? I might have cried at the first one. What was the one with the South African chick who got shot up by the helicopter?
I think there was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think when the South African chick got it, I was like, oh, she's so hot. Quentin Tarantino. I love Quentin Tarantino movies. I haven't seen Django Unchained, and I haven't seen The Hateful Eight yet. But prior to that, I always watched every single Quentin Tarantino
both of
movie.
those are pretty good.
What's that?
Both of those are pretty good.
Are they?
Yeah.
So he made that movie Death Proof. That's when I went, oh, he'd been trying to make a bad movie for his entire career, and he finally did it. And I just haven't come back to him yet because that one was so bad. But I love Quentin Tarantino. I think From Dusk Till Dawn is a brilliant, genius movie with deep, deep, deep spiritual truths in it, expressed the way a man can understand them. And I'm actually not kidding. I'm frequently talking out of my ass, but this time I'm being true. A man can watch From Dusk Till Dawn, enjoy it, and then get one of the most important spiritual truths in the world there is out of it. Have I not showed you the clip from, you've seen Dusk Till Dawn, right?
Yeah. I like Quentin Tarantino's movies.
And he's like, well, so technically, that's a Robert Rodriguez movie.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino wrote the first half, and then Robert Rodriguez wrote the second half. And then Tarantino had a bit part in it, or he had a part in it. But allegedly, it was largely directed. Rodriguez was technically the director, but like Tarantino had a huge outsized influence on the movie, even the second half that he didn't allegedly write. So it's technically a Rodriguez movie, but it's like really a Tarantino movie. Was what I've read.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction was pretty good too. All his movies are pretty good.
They're all good.
What's not a country, motherfucker? Do they speak what? Do they speak English and what?
Say what again? What? I got, what was it, dead white boy all over my car, or what do you say? I recently watched Dragged Across the Concrete with Mel Gibson and Vince Vaughn. It has a very Pulp Fiction feel to it. I haven't seen that one. Okay, BCat78 agrees with you. He likes Django and Hateful Eight a lot.
I mean, they weren't terrible.
Bear Claw says it's a good movie, but the best, I'm assuming you're referring to From Dusk Till Dawn. And we'd have to understand the rating system. Dusk Till Dawn is not a tier 1 level 10 movie. Dusk Till Dawn kind of transcends the rating system a little bit. But I think in theory, Dusk Till Dawn is probably a tier 3 level infinity movie, but it could possibly be a tier 2 level 10 movie. I think it just depends on where you approach it. So tier 1 movies are movies that were made and intended to be really good movies. So think The Magnificent Seven or The Great Escape, or any big budget. So like the Marvel movies are tier 1 movies. Now they might not be high tier 1, they might be low tier 1. And then tier 2 is obviously a step below that. Tier 3s are movies that were never intended to be good, or they had low budgets or whatnot. And so you don't want to compare From Dusk Till Dawn to Avengers Endgame. It's not a 1-to-1 comparison. So they've got to have. I think it's that stupid dog from next door I hate so much. You got to have ways to organize this. So when you say From Dusk Till Dawn is the best movie ever, it within its system, within its tier. Apocalypse Now. I don't think I've seen Apocalypse Now. Patton was very good. Samuel Jackson reading Go the Fuck Asleep is a classic. I'm not familiar with that one. Not a vampire film fan. I am burned out on horror movies. So what you got to know about Dusk Till Dawn, Lance Corporal Veteran, is that it's not a vampire movie or a horror movie. It's
the vampire part was very at the end. Yeah,
it's a spiritual movie. It's a movie about men and spirituality. And when you realize that, then you start getting really excited. And then, of course, there's also Salma Hayek dancing with a snake.
Nude. Almost nude.
Almost nude.
Almost.
It's
nude enough.
It's so good, it didn't matter if she'd have on a damn burqa. It's still like, ah.
What's up with that dude in feet, man? He's always
yeah. Yeah.
He's got a foot fetish going on.
Lance Corporal Veteran didn't like Hateful Eight. M.I. Prepper likes Apocalypse Now Redux. Bear Claw likes Apocalypse Now. What movie has the best gun scenes, in your opinion? Interesting. I never thought about that. All right, I'm about to lose some more street cred here. I haven't seen any of the John Wick movies yet.
That's like gun fu.
Gung Fu.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean, like gun scenes? Like,
yeah.
The most guns in the scene, or the most realistic, the most...
Yeah, I don't know. What's a movie that stands out for its use of guns?
I don't know, what movie where they were shooting when Alec Baldwin shot the woman?
Oh, Rust. Too soon. I like Westerns a lot. So any movie that's got any Western that's got some good gunplay in it. BCat78 likes Big Top Pee-wee. And he also says that I have to see John Wick, best gun work. Bear Claw likes Lone Survivor. Oh, MI Prepper likes The Wild Bunch. The Dirty Dozen was pretty good. If you like World War II guns. You know what show had, I'm going to get laughed at again, but if you've ever seen Firefly, Firefly put a lot of time and effort into the individual firearms for the different characters. I mean, a lot of time and effort into the individual firearms, and like they fit the guns to the characters, and they did a really good job with it. Now it's a science fiction thing. It's not for everybody. It's science fiction cowboys. It's a little weird, but people who love Firefly love Firefly. I happen to really like it a lot. It's very good. All right, Hunter Kirk, best gun scene, the beginning of Private Ryan. It's hard to argue with that. Yeah, it sucks if you have been there. Yeah, I would imagine. I've never seen combat, but I can imagine that's a triggering movie. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly has some great gun handling. Any Clint Eastwood film?
There's two types of men in the world. One with loaded guns and one who's digs.
BCat likes Firefly. Thomaston with Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer. I'm not familiar with that one. MI Prepper likes The Outlaw, Josie Wells.
Don't you tell me it's raining in... Well, what do you say? Don't you piss down my back and tell me it's raining Josie Wells.
You know, I like that scene in True Grit where John Wayne, they're on the horses, and he yells, "Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!" And he takes off at him, and he's got, I can't remember if he's got a rifle and had a pistol, I can't remember, but that was a great scene. "Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!" I saw the movie, then went out and bought the whole series, later showed it to my friends. He came back a Firefly convert. Firefly is very good. Oh, Tombstone, not Thomaston. I'm sorry. I should have seen that less. Yeah, Tombstone. I mean, as soon as I saw Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell, I should have known Tombstone. There are some very good scenes, and that's just a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was fairly accurate.
Yeah?
Yeah, I watched a documentary on it. They made it fairly accurate.
Kurt Russell was a terrible actor. I don't know how he made such a good movie. He's a terrible actor, but I enjoy all of his movies.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like Big Trouble in Little China?
Big Trouble in Little China is really good. Escape from New York was really good.
Yeah.
Escape from L.A. was so bad it was good. Yeah. I mean, it was awful, but it was enjoyable. Did you see Overboard?
Yeah.
I thought that was a great little movie.
That was a great movie.
It's cute as hell. I don't know what else. I can't think of anything else he's been in. But Stargate. He was in the Stargate movie.
Yeah, that one.
That was excellent.
That
was excellent. Now, I really liked Stargate SG-1, so maybe I'm projecting here a little bit. I like all the Stargates. Stargate SG-1 is excellent. Stargate Atlantis is very good, and Stargate Universe SGU was fantastic. It was amazing, and of course it was good because they canceled it. It only got like a season and a half. Isaac hasn't seen Tombstone yet. Wow. And my prepper likes The Thing. Black Hawk Down is top 3 best combat movies. I watched that movie once, Bear Claw, and I got so angry that I wanted to go kill Somalis. I mean, so viscerally, deeply enraged that I haven't watched it since. And if it's on, I won't watch it because it affected me too much. For a tier 3 class A type beta. Yeah, I like Clint Eastwood movies. I've never seen a bad Eastwood movie. His movies as of late have become superb.
Like Gran Torino, that movie was awesome.
I haven't seen that one yet.
You haven't seen Gran Torino? I used to stack gooks like you. What do you say? I used to stack gooks like you 4 foot high and use you as sandbags or some shit. It's funny. used to use you as sandbags. Stack you 4 feet high.
That's awesome.
That movie's great.
What's the last one of his I saw? I know I saw Flag of Our Fathers, which was superb. But I don't remember the last Clint Eastwood movie I saw. I know the last Mel Gibson movie I saw was that Bloodfather movie, and that was very good. I cried at that one, too. I got teary. I won't say it wasn't like full on, you know, sobbing, but there was definitely misty eyes. All right, Isaac says I've got to see, oh no, B-Cat says that he stacked them 5 feet high.
Yeah. Either way, it was awesome.
It was high. Space Cowboys. Space Cowboys wasn't terrible. I don't think that was maybe it was a Clint Eastwood movie. I don't know. It didn't feel like his normal movies. But, I mean, you got Clint Eastwood, Tommy Lee Jones. Who else was in that?
Yeah.
One of the Sutherland brothers, I think, was in it. That was pretty good.
I haven't seen it in a while.
It was funny. It was fun. It was what it was supposed to be. It was fun. B-Cat says that Gran Torino was a bit sad. Roadhouse. Oh, I saw Roadhouse at a formative time in my youth, and it may have warped me. It may be why I like ballroom dancing so much.
What if he calls my mom a whore? Then be nice.
Be nice.
Or did he say, is she? Or
Is she or something,
yeah.
yeah. Be nice. Yeah. Yeah, Sharon Jones says the same thing. Black Hawk Down is verboten in this house. Even Clint Eastwood kids describe dinner with him as surreal because they admire him so much, and he's so old they're afraid he'll die any day. Yeah, he's in his 90s.
I think it was like a speech at the Oscars or something he gave about Obama or something.
Is that the one where he talked to the chair?
Yeah, it was
The empty
awesome.
chair?
Yeah,
It was pretty good. Donald Sutherland was in Space Cowboys. I think there's some boobs in Roadhouse, and I hadn't seen a lot of boobs up till that point. And yeah, it affected me. I still remember the first pair of boobs I ever saw. I think the movie was called Tomboy. It was one of those 80s flicks, and this chick could play basketball with the boys, and she was riding dirt bikes with the boys, and took her shirt off while she was on the dirt bike for some reason. The boys I don't know. I don't remember why. I don't remember a whole lot of the movie after that point. I do remember my 11-year-old mind being blown. Why would they hold that?
What?
That comment. B-Cat, I'm assuming Isaac's going to approve that comment here in just a second. Watch Clint Eastwood on Mr. Ed. I had no idea Clint Eastwood was on Mr. Ed. That is awesome. I will look that clip up tonight. Keith Martin's still with us. So I'm guess the only one whose favorite movie is A Room with a View. I'm going to go out on a limb here, Keith, and say that you're the only one present whose favorite movie is A Room with a View. Was that Virginia Woolf? I think that was a Virginia Woolf story, if I remember correctly. I may have that wrong, though, so don't kill me if I'm wrong. Clint Eastwood supports gun control. If there is a gun nearby, he wants to control it. I watched this latest movie, Macho, and Clint is still doing great. HBO was awesome in elementary school, very educational, I bet. We didn't have TV growing up, so.
Yeah, what was the name of that movie? The Problem with the Curve or something? Where he was a baseball scout? Did you see that one?
Uh-uh.
That one's good too.
See, I have yet in my entire life to see a bad baseball movie.
Or Trouble with the Curve. I think that's what it's called.
Room with a View was E.M. Forster. All the wives had the hots for Clint. He was young and very handsome. Oh, on Mr. Ed. Keith, I may watch Room with a View just because you recommend it. I don't know. Does it have any topless chicks on dirt bikes? That tends to be my genre.
That puts them in the tier 1.
Yeah, that's tier 1. Topless chicks on dirt bikes. And Sharon Jones liked Clint in the Empty Chair too. Last Corporal Veteran didn't have a TV growing up. B-Cat's phone is dying. Good night, B-Cat. Thank you. All right, Keith says, every moment of a... Now, Keith is a true intellectual. This man is brilliant. A Room with a View is awesome. Maggie Smith is tremendous in it, and it has many moments that are hilarious.
I've never heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it. Hunter Kirk's leaving us too. Have a good night, sir. Okay, well, MI Prepper's out. Did someone just start did Wes S start up his live stream? Everyone's bailing all at once.
Mountain Truth left.
Isaac recently watched Signs, very different for a movie with him in it. Yeah, no, Signs that's an M. Night Shyamalan film, and that was an excellent movie.
Swing away. Swing away.
Swing away. Keith says, I don't like horror movies for the most part, except for From Dusk Till Dawn.
Which is not a horror movie.
Which is not a horror movie.
We've established that.
Yeah. But I really liked Signs. It was really good. I saw it in the theater. Okay, MI Prepper's out too. All right, I missed what Keith said about Room with a View. I'm trying to go back in the chat.
Everybody's leaving because they thought this was a gun channel and we
Yeah,
turned into
so
a
we talk
movie
about Room with a
review.
View. Every moment of A Room with a View is awesome. It's tremendous, and many moments are hilarious. No topless chicks on dirt bikes, but I watched it 28 times in the theater and now own a copy. Hell, after that, you should own the theater, Keith. All right, Sharon Jones is out too. Good night. Never saw The Passion of the Christ. It's very good, Bear Claw. You know, it's very Catholic. You know, it has a lot of things in it that are quite Catholic. But despite that, it's very, very good. You know, I just found out recently the Catholics believe that Mary had an immaculate conception too.
Huh.
There was Mary had a virgin birth. I don't know if there's any Catholics in the chat or not. There's not many people left in the chat at all. But
We're down to 18.
down to 18. But yeah, I've been listening to this Catholic podcast a lot lately, called Pints with Aquinas, because it's very entertaining. The guy who does it, his name's Matt Fradd, and he's very good at it. But I didn't know some of the weirdness, and like I said, I apologize if there's any Catholics in the chat, but there's some weird things in the Catholic Church. Yeah, Lance Corporal Veteran, Signs was very suspenseful. I saw it with my first wife in the movie theater, and when I left, my arm was exhausted because we'd been so tensed up. She was holding my arm, and we were both so tensed up that my arm was like exhausted. And Walter Matthau was a very funny actor. Nicholas Campbell says that's what we were always taught. Maybe yeah, I guess you're Catholic and you're talking about the virgin birth of Mary. Keith's second favorite movie. Here's my question. Wouldn't Mary's mother need to have a virgin birth too then? I mean, how far back does this have to go? I don't know. My second favorite movie is a baseball movie, The Natural. The Natural is very good. Another one where every moment is worth listening and carefully to the dialogue. That's Robert Redford, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Hit the cover off the ball, Roy.
I should point out that, I accept that Catholics are Christian brothers, that I disagree with many of the things that they believe, but they get the most important things correct.
Keep your drawer.
I guess Les is out too. Les, what was the explosions? Did y'all ever find out? Rachel likes District 9. I don't think I've seen District 9. Was that the cop movie where they, or no, that was the assault on precinct whatever. I don't know District 9.
Yeah, it's like an alien movie, I think.
Sharon Jones is a recovering Catholic. So here's my question. So what I heard, and I haven't researched this yet, but what I heard this guy say is that Mary had to be perfect. She had to be sinless. Mary had to be without sin in order to be worthy to carry Jesus, which I think is the mistake right there, that she had to be without sin in order to carry Jesus. Because Jesus is very good at redeeming us from our sin. He doesn't need us to not sin. And so because she needed to be without sin,
But Jesus had to be able to commit sin, or it makes...
he had to be capable of committing sin.
So all that doesn't make any... I mean, you don't have to manufacture...
Well, the other assumption there is that, Mary's mother having sex with Mary's father would be sinful. I think this is just a uniquely Catholic take on sex. But, for us, there'd be no sin in that. They could be crazed nymphomaniacs as long as they were just, keeping it within the bounds of the law. Why would the sex make her sinful? The sex within the context of the marriage bed isn't sinful.
Yeah, it's madness. They just want to elevate Mary to equal to or greater than.
She becomes the queen of heaven. I struggle with the Mary stuff a lot. The Pope announced that we can get jabbed. Big issues going on around that. Yeah, and this guy whose podcast I listen to, he is very unhappy with the Pope because he's a very conservative man. This Matt Fradd guy. We probably agree on the vast majority of things we could talk about. But it's just, I don't understand why Mary is so important. I just don't get it. And that's fine. I'm not a Catholic, so. The first couple of Terminator movies are classic. I like the Terminator movie. You know what other movies I liked? I loved all of the Mummy movies. I thought they were all a blast. And I liked most of the Scorpion King movies up until the last one. Anywho. Well, I hope we didn't insult our Catholic friend. Hey, Asymmetrical Preparedness is here. How you doing, sir? I think we're winding down, though. $154 minutes.
Not till we get 60 likes.
60 likes. Y'all want this to end? Smash the like button.
It's gonna go up instantly.
10 Tigers didn't like Pope John Paul II.
I didn't know him.
No, I didn't know him personally either. I know he hated commies, though. Anyone who hates commies can't be all bad. Oh, thank you, Asymmetrical Preparedness. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, the current Pope is a terrible Catholic. He doesn't really believe in Catholicism. I'm not sure why you'd be a Catholic priest.
That makes him a terrible Catholic. Or a terrible Pope. It makes him a good Pope if you don't believe in Catholicism.
No, because the whole purpose of the Pope is to promote Catholicism.
We're heading in the right direction.
But because he's going to the left, not the right. He's like, Who am I to judge? You're the
Like,
Pope.
like I say, now they're being honest.
What do you mean? Who am I? You're the Pope. If you can't tell almost to stop being butt bandits, who can? You claim to speak for all of Christendom. If you can't judge, what are you doing? Wasting everybody's time. But you know, there are so many Christians who don't follow Torah.
All of them?
Almost all of them. That at some point I just have to say, okay, I just have to deal with you where you're at. You know, you confess with your mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord. You believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead. I have to let everything else, maybe not everything else, but
All right, but if you confess your mouth that Jesus is Lord and you don't do what he says, then you're not confessing that he's Lord.
well, you're a bad Christian, but at some level we all are. You know,
Right, yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that that's it, and that's fine and stay there, but I think at that point I have to at least acknowledge you as a fellow believer, you know? I'm not going to necessarily fellowship with you or agree with you, but I'm not going to, like, damn you to hell. And, you know, Mormons just barely squeak in under that bar, too, you know, by the skin of their damn teeth, but they meet that bare minimum standard. I'd drive the bus taking Jehovah's Witnesses to hell, though.
They don't meet the standard.
No, they don't confess with their mouth that Jesus Christ is Lord. Rachel Knight loves Twilight. I don't have to retract that, Rachel. That's legitimate. I haven't seen any of them, but they made a lot of money. They can't just be.
I read all the books.
Were they good?
They were good. They were good-ish up to the end, but the end, I was so pissed off. I was like, I wasted all my fucking time to read these fucking books. I want my money back.
Well,
That just proves I'll read anything.
that kind of implies that they were okay.
Yeah, I mean, they kept me into it until the end, and then I was like, you fucking bitch. Return my money.
Trying to see if I can get my legs warm a little bit, folks. I'm sorry, but now I just put my face in the fire, and now I can't see anything. So, but my legs are cold. Oh, this means I can't see the chat now. All right. Well, Jeff likes Twilight up to the end. I guess he was an Edmund guy.
They were
he didn't
readable.
want Bella to end up with it was Edmund and who?
Fuck. Jake or Jack or something.
I thought Edmund was the werewolf. Who was the vampire?
No, he was the vampire.
Oh, Edmund was the vampire. So you were team werewolf?
I really didn't have a team. I just wanted it to end satisfactory.
Sharon Jones says that she went to heaven and saw a wall and asked St. Peter, why the wall? He said, that's the Catholics. They think they're the only ones here. Oh, the Mormons are great preppers, 10 Tigers. I actually like Mormons a lot. They're good moral people. They focus on family. With vast swaths of their theology is utter tripe. But
They're kind of racist, but
the Mormons?
Yeah.
Not as bad as the JWs, though. And so many black people are JWs.
I mean, even their like belief that is racist. Don't they believe that if you're like God's having sex in heaven, he's creating these spirit babies. If you're a good spirit baby, you go into a white person. If you're a bad spirit baby, you go into a black person.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of racist.
Yeah.
But I guess most Mormons don't know that.
Isaac says, The Lord of the Rings are the greatest films of all time, if you ask me. Theirs are very good. I wouldn't. I guess I wouldn't call them the greatest movies of all time, but they're certainly great movies.
They're tier 4.
Tier 4. Wow.
I don't know the tier system, so.
I've heard. In the tier system, they're tier 1.
Okay.
They're tier 1 movies, and they're
Except the last one. I walked out of the theater on the last one.
Why?
Yeah, because it was so far from the books. I was like, fuck.
Oh, you're talking about The Hobbit.
No. The last.
The Return of the King?
Yeah. Yeah, I walked out of the theater.
What did they get wrong?
A lot of shit, and it just pissed me off. I was like, oh, no,
Oh,
fuck
I didn't
this.
pick up on any of it. I thought they did. I didn't realize that. I thought they stayed real true to it. I thought The Hobbit was very disappointing for that reason.
Yeah.
Because The Hobbit was very different. The Dark Knight trilogy was very good. Yeah, Mormons believe you can convert your dead ancestors. I don't know what the new Batman's going to be like. I hope they didn't do the origin story because that has been done so much.
From what I've heard, they skipped all that and they went straight to. It's more of him being Batman
Oh, that's good.
than Bruce Wayne.
I think that was the new Spider-Man's skipped the whole Uncle Ben thing, and I think that was a wise choice.
It's more of a detective story.
Rachel Knight says she now has the Misty Mounts song in my head. Oh, from Lord of the Rings. Yeah, the Hobbit movies were disappointing. Okay, well, I am running out of steam, and we're only at 45 likes. So there were 4 people that really wanted us to end this damn thing. Will to freedom. Is liberal democracy truly patriotism? If not, what is? I hate to say this. Oh, I'm out of screen. I am no longer sold on democracy. I think most of us are not. Many of us are not. I am a patriarchal anarchist. I think the world should be run by Christian men who've had a Christian son who's had a Christian son. So, Christian grandfathers down the male line. And I know that's insulting to you ladies, but I'm sorry, but only about 5% of you are smart enough to vote. And those 5% of you are, excellent and admirable. But I'm willing to sacrifice you to get rid of the 95% of the morons. and by the way, I don't qualify under that standard yet. I'm a grandfather, but through my daughters. None of my sons have sons yet. So when I say that, I wouldn't be able to vote under that system yet either. Keith Martin doesn't like democracy either. Sharon asks, all right, UK, you are Christian, correct? May I ask what faith religion? This is a complex question. So I am lots of the people who are in our whatever you want to call us group, some people call us a cult, don't like the term Christian. I think it's a useful term. I agree that it has lost some of its meaning. That people who think Easter is about bunnies and Christmas is about Santa Claus describe themselves as Christian these days. So it has lost some of its meaning. How would you describe what we are? Other than drop dead sexy. I like the phrase Torah observant Christian. So the best way to describe it is that we accept the New Testament and the Old Testament as one unified whole. And we don't see this, we actually really don't even accept the idea of a New Testament and an Old Testament. There's the scripture, and it's all valid until it's specifically fulfilled later on. So for us, the only things that have been fulfilled are the priesthood and the sacrifices. and all the rest of it is still valid. I use the phrase Torah observant Christians. Some people like to call themselves Hebrew roots. I don't like that phrase. And then there's some people who refer to themselves as some form of Israelite or Israelism. And I stay away from that phrase completely because there are some truly disturbed people who use that title. So the big things that set us apart from regular Christians is that we are fanatical about the Sabbath. For us, the Sabbath was it the second or first thing he instituted? I think the Sabbath came before marriage, right?
No, because marriage took place on the 6th day.
Oh no, we've had this. We won't need to get into this. We've had this disagreement before. I think. Anyway, the Sabbath was either the first or second thing God instituted. So we keep the Sabbath.
But marriage is not a commandment, so.
What's that?
But marriage is not a commandment.
Right.
So.
That's true.
Yep.
So sundown on Friday to sundown on Saturday usually. Now there's other Sabbaths too that we keep. That's not just. Some people refer to them as high Sabbaths. So this will be the Sabbaths on either end of Passover. The Feast of Trumpets is a Sabbath. The Day of Atonement is a Sabbath. And then there's a Sabbath on either end of Tabernacles. Is that all of them?
Yeah, I think so.
We don't, in our assembly, we don't do anything with first fruits because we don't understand it yet. And I don't think anybody really does. But we don't need to get into that. Okay, so what else? We keep Sabbath, we eat clean. So we follow the Old Testament dietary laws. Now that doesn't mean we eat kosher. Kosher is
Of course, blessed by a rabbi. Right?
yeah, it's blessed by a rabbi, and it has to be treated in certain ways. And so, like cheeseburgers aren't kosher,
Yeah.
but they are fine under Torah.
Yeah.
So it's easy sometimes to say we eat kosher because everyone knows that word. It's not completely accurate, but kosher comes from the same place. So we don't eat pork, we don't eat shrimp and shellfish, and
We eat food.
we eat food. The things God meant to be food.
Not everything is food.
What else? Those are the big ones.
We don't kidnap our neighbors and sell them into slavery.
Right. We don't kidnap our neighbors and sell them into slavery. We have a slightly different approach to capital punishment. Our marriages are based around Old Testament principles, and we'll just leave it at that. Although the New Testament principles on marriage are far harder than the Old Testament principles. Far harder. We keep the feast, so we observe Passover. I think Jeff and I describe it different ways. I say we keep Passover, and you say we observe it, right? Or celebrate it. But we do the same things. We kill the sheep. We cook them without. We kill the sheep without breaking any of his bones. Cook him whole. Burn everything in the same fire we cooked them on. Eat them standing up. We make a big deal out of Passover. Then we keep trumpets. We've got a shofar we blow a little bit, but I think the big thing we do on trumpets is set off fireworks. Because it says to make a big noise. And then the Day of Atonement is a day you're supposed to afflict your flesh. It's not really stated how to do that. I normally reject any and all traditions. This is one time when I think the tradition has got it right. The Jewish tradition here says that for 24 hours you don't eat or drink. It's not a command. If you don't keep it that way, it's fine. It's not like you're violating it. I think that's an excellent way to afflict your flesh for a day. Trust me, it sucks. But it's also not that hard. You can do it. but only I do that. So the kids get to drink water and have peanut butter and bread for that day, which they hate, but you know, this keeps them fine. And if Mariah is pregnant or nursing, she does the same thing. And in those rare times when she's not pregnant or nursing, she keeps the fast with me. And then Booths is kind of fun. You just go camping for a week. It's a blast. But you're supposed to do it in a group. So you know you
What
need.
was the original question?
What denomination are we? What was the original question? It was Sharon who asked.
Basically, I mean, you know, we keep the commandments. I mean, Jesus tells us to keep the commandments. Jesus kept the commandments. They're not done away with.
Okay. So yeah, Sharon asked, okay, you are a Christian, correct? May I ask what faith religion? Keith Martin brings up, ever since females have had the right to vote, the better looking candidate has always won. And also men without beards. Most presidents had facial hair up until then. Even if it was just big sideburns. Les was out as soon as I started talking about who can't vote. 10 Tigers said, I'd said that 5% of women were qualified to vote. He said 1% or less. 10 Tigers says only property owners need to vote.
Well, none of us are property owners. So.
Yeah, no one owns their property anymore. Oh, Lance Corporal veteran asked a riddle. The riddle is, what creature is that which cradles men, it bears a bloody back, and shelters from fighters from shaft and point, gives lice to some, and lays itself inside a soldier's grasp? I don't know. Bear Claw asked the question, I like bacon, am I going to hell? No, I like bacon too, and I don't eat it. No, look, salvation has nothing to do with keeping the commands. Okay, Sharon Jones asked, where does the Torah come in? Is that not Jewish? That's a complicated question. Judaism as we know it only arose in the last couple hundred years. The Jewish identity only came out of the Babylonian captivity. So you know, you're talking about in the Bible after, say, Nehemiah and Ezra, when the captives come back from Babylon to Jerusalem and rebuild Jerusalem and the temple, that's when the Jewish identity emerged. And so that's when Esther happened, Daniel, all that happened in the captivity. Torah predates Jewishness. So it's not, I know what you mean when you ask that, is it not Jewish? It's not Jewish. Jewishness comes out of that, but Torah predates Judaism. So when we say Torah, we're talking about, usually we're talking about those commands everyone thinks about that include, you know, the 10 Commandments, all that stuff in Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy, thou shalt not, all that is Torah. Keith says, I'm not Torah observant, but when it comes to bacon, what one might want to know that there's absolutely nothing about how bacon tastes that has anything at all to do with the taste of the meat that serves as its base. Everything taste-wise is artificially added to what are the muscles around the pig's groin. The actual taste is so unappealing that it has to be camouflaged. Huh, that's interesting. What are your thoughts on the Gnostic Gospels? Hey, Nona, how you doing, ma'am? Here's my thought on the Gnostic Gospels. I have all I can handle with the regular Gospels. I haven't gone into any of the Apocrypha or any of that yet, because it's beyond me at this stage. Okay, Isaac asked an excellent question. Les is like, I love me some pig. Damn, I love pig. That's funny, Les. Okay, Isaac. So we get this question a lot, and it usually, I know you're not doing this, but usually when people ask us this question, it's kind of throwing at us as an accusation. When we say we try to keep Torah, like, so do you wear, clothes of mixed fibers? And every time someone asks us that question, it only takes me a second. I don't even have to ask anymore. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Was that the question about mixed?
Yeah, you wear clothing of mixed fibers.
Wasn't it just two fibers that?
There's
Like
two
cotton and
specific
linen?
fibers. It's not mixed fibers. There's two specific fibers we're not allowed, not wheat, that are not allowed to be mixed in clothing, and it's flax and wool. You can't mix flax and wool. That's it. You can mix everything else. Now, I maintain, and I'm pretty adamant about this, and not many people agree with me, but I'm okay with that. So there's two sets of commands, basically. There's the commands given at Mount Sinai when Moses goes up on the mountain and there's all the flashing and the thunder and the lightning and all that shit. And he comes back down with the 10 Commandments and the rest of what we think of as the Torah. And then they go into the wilderness for 80 years. And right before they come out of the wilderness and go into the land, right before Moses dies, he gives a whole nother set of commands. And all of those commands only apply in Israel. So they only apply to Israelites in Israel. So these commands are prefaced by the phrase, when you come into your inheritance in the land flowing with milk and honey.
I would disagree with that.
Yeah, Jeff disagrees with me. So for me, I wouldn't worry about mixing my flax and my wool no matter what. That's not true. I would, just to stay in fellowship with others who believe with me, because that's a minority opinion. Not many people agree with me on that. But even if you take it as a universal command for everyone, it's not mixed fibers, it's flax and wool. You cannot mix flax and wool. So yes, I wear clothing of mixed fibers, and no, that doesn't violate Torah in the least. Jews will disagree with us on that, though. But they also reject the Messiah, so what do they know?
They know a lot.
Yeah, they do. They know a lot.
They're just wrong on some things.
They've got some things wrong, but they do. They know a lot. Sharon says, I've watched one video your wife did, and I'm still studying on it. I enjoyed it. I'll let her know. She'll be happy to hear that. Which one was it? And Sharon says, fasting does suck, but is very healthy for your body. Keith, they shave their faces to please the women who want to dominate their men by demanding no facial hair. Okay. Oh, Lance Corporal's veteran's riddle answer is the shield. That makes sense. Isaac, I have struggled with stomach problems my whole life, like IBS and such. Fasting for short times and giving my system a break from food really helps a lot. We don't need so much food. No, we do not. What about Leviticus 19:19? What are your thoughts on this? I am really curious, revolting man. Hey, Dean, how you doing, bud? Okay, let's go look up Leviticus 19. You have your phone on you?
Leviticus 19:19. Let's see, that is the fornication chapter. So it should be interesting.
Yay, fornication! Whee! What is verse 19? I wonder if it's what I think it is.
No, it's with the fibers.
Oh.
You shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither shall thou garment mingle of linen and woolen come unto thee.
That messes with my worldview. I have to look into that, Keith. I thought that was later on in Numbers. So everything I may have just said may have just been utter tripe, and I apologize.
It was 19, not the fornication chapter. What was the fornication chapter?
Yeah, no, I was more interested in the fornication
Yeah, I thought-
chapter.
Got my chapters mixed up.
I would still say that, okay, yeah, don't mix linen and wool. And that's a pretty easy thing to do. Linen is a specific type of material, wool is a specific type of material. I don't wear much wool at all to begin with. My socks I have some socks I really like that have wool in them. I need to check and make sure there's no linen in those. I don't think there is. My gosh. Dean woke up to 2 inches of snow. Is that 2 foot of snow, Dean, or 2 inches? Yeah, thank the Father for global warming. Oh, Mariah's video was on marriage and subservience to the man and husband. Subservience might not be a phrase we like much. It could be okay, though. Yeah, inches. It's snowing in Massachusetts, too, at Isaac's. The smoke changed directions into my eyes for a second, so that might be it. So that's the regular Torah, right? That's the Mount Sinai, Leviticus 19:19.
Deuteronomy, and it's all Mount Sinai.
It's Numbers is where they go into.
It's all Mount Sinai.
No, it's not.
It's all one place.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's not Numbers.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You've got to read Numbers. I think it's 16. It might be Numbers 12 though.
Okay, it's all the same place.
Even so, anything preferenced with when you come into your inheritance in the land flowing with milk and honey.
That starts in Exodus. He says that in Exodus.
Yes, but it doesn't come into effect until they have their inheritance in the land flowing with milk and honey, which they don't have at Sinai. And then if you don't have an inheritance in the land flowing with milk, it's the law, the words matter.
I agree. It was all given at Mount Sinai.
I swear to you, there's another group of commands.
No.
Isn't it past midnight where you're at? I don't know, is it?
It's 12:44. Don't the time change?
Does it?
I think so.
Wow. All right. I think I'm going to call it. Man, we appreciate you. Thank you. So I have to retract everything I said about the fibers, but I don't think I have to retract everything I said about the fibers. I just have to put a asterisk next to it and go make sure that I'm correct. But I'm pretty sure I'm correct. We appreciate you. Thank you, and good night. Oh, we're still here. I haven't hit stop yet, so don't start swearing. Okay, here we go. We appreciate you. Thank you. And good. Hey, Dean, I'm sorry we're bailing on you right when you got here, but it was a 3-hour one, and I'm done. Just like physically, just